The following program is paid for by Tim Fletcher.
What? I think I fell asleep actually, just saying that. How do you what? Oh, that's a great way to start a radio show, Rogers, by basically utter confusion. But that's where we're at because I'm in and I don't understand this time of the day. Like, what are you people doing up? Oh, man. Hi, I guess. What's up? It's the Tim Fletcher Show. You may or may not know I'm not Tim Fletcher. Can Fletch please put his dang ID in this phone? I have to press this not now button 491 times. Finish up your setting up of your phone, Fletcher. It was the sports wife's birthday yesterday. And apparently Fletch was doing some nice things, I guess. I don't know what they ended up doing. I'm sure he'll talk about it tomorrow, assuming he's back. Yeah. Ooh. Wow. So loud. It's too early in the morning. Here's the thing, Rogers. I don't drink. I've never been drunk. I've never been high. I've never done any of that. It's just not something I've enjoyed or done in my life. But,
all right.
Golly, so loud. I feel like I'm hungover right now. Even though I don't drink. I feel like this is what it feels like to be like everything's kind of loud and I'm just kind of out of it. Rogers, I decided on the way over here that there's one particular type of person that I hate more than anyone. The most evil, vile people in the world are morning people. Like, how do you get up at this time of morning? Oh, there's your brawl, Rogers. Showing it again. How do you get up this time of morning? And they're like, boy, I sure am ready to attack the day. Yeah, they had a brawl in the Southland last night. We'll get to that. Don't worry. I wasn't watching it live. I did watch some of that game last night, but yeah, they played the feud. Had a couple of guys get after it in the Texas A&M Commerce Incarnate Word, or as their own graphic one time said, Incarnate Word, not to be confused with Incarnate Word. I'm just saying, Rogers, morning people, like anyone who gets up at this time of the day, now look, if you're up at like 7:30, I'm going to cut you some slack because at least that's like daylight, but hey, it's Ruben.
Yeah.
Hey, Ruben. Hey.
He's a morning person.
Hi, Ruben.
He's a
Took him long enough.
He's not a morning person.
No.
But he has to be here.
No. See, this is the thing, though. Anybody who their eyes pop open at like
2:30.
5. I'm going to go all the way to like 6:30,
Wow,
7
boy,
o'clock.
You really cut me out of the case.
Yeah, no. You're a completely different case
Okay,
because you don't even wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
You wake up at night.
Yeah.
Like yours is still at night. Like I'm sorry, 2:30 is not the morning. 2:30 is still last night.
I'm Animal from the Muppets.
Yeah, 2:30 is still last night. It is not this morning. But anyone who pops out of the alarm goes off or doesn't go off, and your eyes pop open at 4, 5, 6, 6:30. I'll go all the way to like 7, and then I think 7:30 is kind of where I draw the line. If you're waking up at 7:30, that's I find that it's I'll call it somewhat acceptable. But if your eyes pop open at like 5:05 and you're like, man, I can't wait to attack the day, I hate you. Like you're the most evil person there is. Morning people are just, there's something wrong with them. Like, let me ask you a question, Rogers. That's Rogers Hampton, by the way, everyone.
Hey, boy.
Yeah. So, Rogers, when your eyes pop open at 2:30 in the morning, are you like, man, I'm so happy to be awake and I can't wait to go attack the day? Or are you like cursing the world?
No, I've never been a big curse the world guy because I know I have to get up and do it because it's part of what pays my bills.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it depends on how much sleep I've gotten the night before, maybe, how much I drank the night before.
Sure.
But,
which is usually a lot.
But not as much as in the younger days.
Right, of course.
And if I get up early enough to where I can take a good hot shower in the morning, that kind of gets everything right. My hair gets right in the direction.
That's right. Got to have the arm hair going in the right direction.
The hair feels good. You feel clean. That usually is what gets me going. Usually, if it's anywhere near where I feel bad, it's just because I didn't get a really good night's sleep, tossed and turned, or had bad dreams. But I've been doing this 40-something years now to where the body kind of goes, all right, you got to get up. And usually I get up early enough to, if I need to take a shower, I have allotted myself that time. Because I know we've had this conversation about me putting everything 30 minutes ahead on all my clocks. That's my 30-minute shower window to where if I need to shower, I'm still in normal mode to get out the door.
So for those that don't know, Rogers and I have gone back and forth about him and his clocks. Because he sets his clocks ahead where, you wake up, it's 5 o'clock and his clock says it's like, how far ahead are you setting them now? 30. You didn't have anything.
Yeah, 30 to 35 minutes.
All right. So
35 is the most I will do depending on how long that next day is going to be.
So this is my contention. All right. I'm glad we got on this.
Oh, and remember, we got to watch.
I know your dumb breaks are so dumb.
We can be late on the SEC update.
Everything about being awake and alive this early in the morning is dumb.
And now that we're on even a faster pace.
No, I know it's dumb. All of it's dumb. The idea that Rogers sets his clocks ahead by 30 minutes. But here's my problem, okay? That only works if you don't know the clocks are set ahead by 30 minutes. Like, this is my contention with Rogers and his clock setting. It's like, oh, yeah, I set the clock ahead 30 minutes so it, kind of makes me, get up, kind of get moving or whatever. I'm like, but you already know in your head that the clock is 30 minutes ahead. So when you wake up and go, it's 5:30, in your head you go, no, it's 5. Like,
it just gives me a cushion that my mental capacity can deal with.
It's so amusing.
It makes me comfortably numb.
I mean, as long as you're happy with it, like go for it. But
it gives me the leeway of I'm having some tummy trouble this morning, or man, I need an extra long shower because I had a bad sweat night.
Yeah, but why not just set your clock to its regular time and then set your alarm earlier?
Because that just gives me the window of knowing if I need to.
But it's not. It's the same time.
But it's really not.
If you set your alarm at 5, all right, and you're really getting up at 4:30, let's just say, just do round numbers, right? Your clock is set ahead by 30 minutes. So your alarm goes off at 4:30, but on your clock it reads 5. Why not just put your clock normal and set it to 4:30?
Because that means I got to hop up right out of bed immediately.
But you still have to hop up right out of bed.
No, I don't. I have a leeway.
Well, then set it 30 minutes earlier.
No, if I want to lay there for an extra minute or two, I know I've got another 25 minutes.
But just set your alarm 30 minutes earlier.
I don't want to have to hear the alarm a second time. I've never been a snooze guy.
Well,
anybody that hits the snooze.
But aren't you hitting the snooze if you're sitting in there with the clock 30 minutes later?
No, not really. I'm laying there mentally waking up.
Okay, well, wouldn't you do the same thing with the clock 30 minutes, if the clock read 5 instead of 5:30?
No, because if I knew I had to be a certain time, a certain place, and I don't have any leeway time if I have tummy trouble or need an extra shower.
Okay, then set your alarm 30 minutes earlier.
But what if that day I don't need that extra time?
Okay,
then I just have time to myself to
you snooze
myself and get ready for the people I have to deal with in this building.
I mean, I'm just
like
saying.
This morning,
if you wake up at,
I probably should have set it an hour ahead.
If you wake up at 5 o'clock, all right, and you set your alarm for 5 o'clock.
You think you're really going to convince me?
No, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just
trying really hard.
I'm just trying to understand how insane
40 years.
It is.
Well, I'm a morning show person. You're not. I don't understand how you can't hop up and get going. How about that?
Oh, I don't.
That's where this goes.
No. Well, you just said you sometimes need to lay in bed and just kind of relax.
If I lay in bed, that means I'm talking 5 minutes.
Oh,
because I was in a bad dream or something. I need to mentally make sure I'm not about to get up and do anything bad.
There's a monster in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
You were assassinating
Abraham.
Lincoln.
Some of the dreams you have, the line between reality and dreamland sometimes is very thin. So you want me to give you that 30-minute leeway to make sure I'm actually ham bone, not ham bone.
Well, no, my contention is not that you set the clocks ahead. My contention is that you're just at this point. Look, time is arbitrary anyway. Right? Like, why do we say that it's 6 o'clock in the morning right now? There's no real, we could say, we could say,
starts.
Well, we could say I'm just saying we could say that right now is 3 o'clock in the morning, and it wouldn't be like, time is arbitrary. The label we put, but the label we put on it is arbitrary. Like, this is 6:12 a.m. simply because someone decided that it's going to be called 6:12 a.m. Like, this could be Blorg o'clock for all we know. They could name it anything they wanted. Time is completely arbitrary. The sun rises and sets, and we just put a time on it ourselves. What I'm saying is, the idea that you put your clock ahead 30 minutes, but you already know it's 30 minutes ahead, it's the same thing as if you just had it set at the regular time and set your alarm 30 minutes earlier.
It's really not.
It is, though.
It's not.
It is. Like, if you...
It's not.
If you
why do you got to argue this? It's not.
It is, but that's the thing. It is absolutely
You're
the same
not a morning
thing.
show person who don't understand this, so how can I expect you to understand something you don't get?
My alarm is set for 9 a.m. every morning.
And to me, I would already missed a half day of work.
Well, sure. No, I'm not arguing the morning person aspect. I'm arguing the time aspect of it. Like, if I set my alarm, if my alarm said 9 a.m., right? But I set my clocks ahead by 30 minutes. Well, and then I set my alarm for 8:30, even though it's going to go off at 9 again. Like, I don't.
You just don't understand the 30-minute window cushion it gives me mentally.
Well, that's the thing, though. But here's the part I don't understand.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're never going to understand it because you're not an only child who grew up.
Why not just set your alarm
being responsible
earlier?
For your own time your whole life?
Why not just set the time correct and then set your alarm earlier? You still get the same cushion.
No, you don't.
You do. You get
because
the
it's
exact
actual
same
real
cushion.
time, and you have no leeway for anything anywhere.
No, because you have given yourself a 30-minute window. You've set your alarm 30 minutes earlier.
That's just not how that works, man.
This is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
It's a mental thing. See, look, we're already at the first break, and we ain't talked about a damn thing.
Oh my gosh!
Of any relevance that you will never understand.
I don't get the.
And why you think you're going to convince me?
I'm not trying to convince you.
I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just going. You are wasting your freaking time right now.
I'm just trying to understand.
And you're wasting the audience's time. To be honest with you.
I mean, look. Anybody that's up listening to this at 6:14 in the morning.
You know what? This is what pays my damn bills.
Well,
so maybe not put it down.
You'll get to continue to get your bills paid.
Well, not if you continue this.
No, I'll be in here for one day and then I'm gone.
You never never know what life brings you. You never know what the tide is going to bring in, Castaway.
I'll be out of here in a couple of hours, and y'all will not have to hear from me for however long it takes for Fletcher to have to.
Hey, you never know when there's another
show.
birthday party he's got to go to.
It's true. And by the way, happy birthday to Allie. Had her birthday yesterday, and also happy 70th birthday to my dad. That was on Sunday. So had a big old time. Yeah. I need to mute my computer. Okay. All right. So this is the Tim Fletcher Show, as guest hosted by Patrick Netherton. That's Rogers Hampton, who's always 30 minutes in the future. He's ahead of all of us. Rogers, you need to bring back the almanac. Yeah, you need to bring back the sports almanac from from Back to the Future. 2? I believe that was 2 that he showed up with the almanac. That Biff. Okay. All right. Off and running. Yeah, we'll tell you what this is all about. I'll try my best to wake up at some point in time. I can't promise anything. Also, I keep forgetting that there's not music going into breaks. This is a whole different animal in this. You morning people. I don't know what's wrong with you. We'll be back.
Asante came to TurboTax after graduating from culinary school and landing a job in the hottest kitchen in town.
My hands are full all day, every day. I love it.
Asante, as your TurboTax expert, I'll make your moves count, guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and your maximum refund. Sound good?
Yes, expert!
Switch to Intuit TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Hester, I was doing some math the other day.
All right.
I think there have been over 1 million people who have been serviced by Sports World in some shape, form, or fashion in their 50 years of existence.
Okay, I can go along with that.
Are you among that million?
Absolutely.
Aren't we all?
We are.
Do you remember your mouthpieces from Sports World?
Absolutely. Boil
Shin
them and cut them.
guards. Oh, dude.
All that stuff.
The tasty stuff.
Yeah.
Sports World's been around for athletes for 50 years. They'll be around for another 50. Sports World celebrating 50 years. When you text the old Tim Fletcher Show, buddy, you're using the Live Oak Waste text line. Roy Walters' crew is ready to make sure you don't ever have to worry again about your trash. Whether it's at a business, a restaurant, retail center, apartment complex, you shouldn't worry about your trash. Leave that to Live Oak, man. 230-7125, liveoak-environmental.com, liveoak-environmental.com, 230-7125. Don't worry about your trash. Leave that to Live Oak.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger. Fox Sports plays here.
Good afternoon. It's the Patrick Netherton Show.
Voice of the Demons, right?
Yes.
Touchdown, Demons!
Brined, marinated, or dry rubbed, it's sports the way you like it.
Sports Center Top 10 right there!
Talking to the biggest names, bringing you the best interviews.
He actually smokes his beans.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
The cooler is full, and the brisket is resting.
Just a nice little pull, and it comes right apart. That's perfect.
We eat ribs with this dude.
Here's your master of ceremonies, the Kansas City Barbecue Society certified expert.
Throw the fade, looking for Ferguson. Got it!
Patrick Netherton.
13-yard touchdown. Demons are back in it.
By God, that's Patrick Netherton's music. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Patrick Netherton Show. I don't know why Rogers did that. He's being a rapscallion. I got him all fired up this morning talking about his fake time. So if you set your clock 30 minutes ahead and you set your alarm for 5, your alarm's actually going off at 4:30, so why not just set your clock regular and set your alarm for 4:30? It's the same thing. Anyway, it is the Tim Fletcher Show, as guest hosted by me, Patrick Netherton. Rogers, you know it's goofy time if I'm doing philosophical time. Time is a construct of man work at 6:30 in the morning. It's not even 6:30 in the morning. Good Lord. All right, what do we need to do, Rogers? SEC update here?
Well,
Is that what we're
our
doing?
one is brought to you by Sports World.
Okay,
on
love our friends
Joella
at
and
Sports World.
3132. That's right. If you need it, they've got it. Sports World.
Hey, Rogers, can you get a bat or a ball or a headset?
I think
there?
you can get a headset, maybe even
headset.
some headbands and a wristband.
Okay,
too.
good. I just wanted to check.
Yeah, anything you need there. There was one time Lord Hester needed a starting block and a either shot put or discus or a javelin, and instead of having it ordered, they had it in the back of the store.
There you go.
So Sports World, Joella and 3132. But now, do you have some SEC information?
I do.
ready?
I have
All right.
SEC information.
We are time to do an SEC update brought to you by Morrison DeWitt Law.
Woo!
Hey, Trey Morris, Justin DeWitt, a peerless reputation, 318-225-9934. That's 318-225-9934. Here's Patrick Netherton with your, hold on a minute, S-E.
I'm holding.
C update.
All right. Woo! Let's go. The SEC, it is a conference. By the way, Rogers, did you see how off the LSU thing? Look at that. Look at check out how off the color is for LSU on the bar at the bottom, on the graphic at the bottom, right there. That's orange. That's Tennessee. That is in no way gold. That is Tennessee orange right there. Well, yeah, because they're wearing black uniforms. Usually they do black if the team's wearing black uniforms. Yeah, LSU's graphic was just awful. All right, SEC update. Award time, right? Got all of our awards happening. Let's start with men's basketball. Jonas Idu from Tennessee named the player of the week in the Southeastern Conference. He averaged 17 points, 10 rebounds, and a block and a half in wins over Arkansas and Vanderbilt. And the freshman of the week in the SEC for men's basketball was Josh Hubbard of Mississippi State. 19 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in a win over Arkansas. Softball players of the week, Jocelyn Erickson of Florida. 8 for 12, 3 runs scored, 13 RBI in a 4-0 week. Co-player of the week, Allie Enright from Texas A&M. Co-pitcher of the week, Aspen Wesley of Mississippi State. And co-pitcher of the week, Emily Kennedy of Texas A&M. Freshman of the week, Keegan Rothrock from Florida. Lot of awards doled out on the softball side. On our next SEC update, we're going to tell you about the baseball awards because it does involve a kid from LSU. So we'll save that for our next SEC update. So there you go. There's your players of the week in men's basketball and softball. We'll get women's basketball coming up. That, I believe, comes out today, I think. But we will talk about the baseball awards. And that was your SEC update.
Brought to you by Morrison DeWitt Lawyers. Trey Morris, Justin DeWitt, 318-225-9934. Call them when you need them. And even if you don't need them, keep that number handy.
Still call them, even if you don't need them. Hello.
Hey.
I was told to call you by these two idiots.
That's
in the
right.
morning.
Hey, that you're paying money to
That's
that we
right.
appreciate very much.
These two guys said, hey,
Trey
call
and
you.
Justin, you're my favorite.
They said call you even if you don't have a problem. That you were just looking for friends to chat with.
And again, hour one of the Tim Fletcher Show, hosted by Patrick Netherton, brought to you by Sports World on Joella off 3132.
Yay. All right, a couple of ways to get in touch with this here show. We are available on YouTube, by the way. So if you are used to watching the show, we're over on the YouTube channel. So go find us over there. It's youtube.com/@Netherton Show. youtube.com/@Netherton Show if you'd like to tune in that way. We would be very pleased to have you with us. Come and join us, hang out, and you can put some comments down on the YouTube channel. We'll read those just like we do our texts. And you can also call us. So call the show at 318-RALLY-45. That's 318-725-5945.
Hello.
You can also reach us. Thanks, Coach O. You can reach us on the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line or the Live Oak Waste Trash text line. Either one.
Look at you knocking those sponsors
I'm
out.
telling you. We have 2 text lines today.
The Live Oak number is 318-489-7453. That is Guy Pyle.
318 Guy Pyle.
Yes, 318-489-7453. The Live Oak Wakes text line. And yours is?
The Bobby O. Green Plumbing text line, which is 318-657-0HAM. 318-657-0426.
Bobby O. Green Plumbing has been
that text line. So find us on either of those spots. It is funny, you wouldn't think a show needs 2 text lines, but we've got them. Some people are used to texting me on my line. Some people are used to texting Fletcher on his line. A couple of texts to get to real quickly. Our boy Red Dragon said, so far my favorite is I'm Animal from the Muppets. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. That's perfect for when Ruben was walking by. He's I
He's got 30 seconds to take a puff.
I appreciate with that. Ernie said, "Oh my, too early. Agree to disagree." Oh no, it's fun. Got to get the blood pumping this early in the morning. Little argument about Roger's idea of how time works. That oh no. See, the morning people never get to know the fun that is me listening to Kate Bush.
Start tuning in
In a hurry. Yeah,
1 to 3.
Yeah, 1 to 3 is my normal time frame. Trust me, I have not been up this early in a long time. Really, the last.
You're doing
time.
better than I thought, to be honest with you.
Oh, look, here's the thing.
You're a little more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed than I'm used to.
Well, here's the secret to this morning time slot. Okay, cocaine.
I was going to say, did you pick the wrong week?
Cocaine.
Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah. No, the secret to this time frame, Rogers, is to do it once, but not repeatedly. Like, I can get up once this early in the morning.
God rest his soul, Toby Keith. You're as good as you once was.
I
as good once as you ever was.
Correct. Like, I can get up once and kind of be peppy and get through the show.
I'm rinse and refresh and repeat.
Well, because you have to do this every day.
Yeah.
And they're like so for me, it's the same thing as like, it's the difference between a 100-yard dash and a mile.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I understand that completely, dude. If there would have been a 40-yard dash, I'd have been state champion. But
right.
You got to the 100, you got me.
Exactly.
My little legs caught up to me by then.
So I can, to me, today is a 100-yard dash.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, this show is a mile.
Oh, absolutely.
And you have to kind of pace yourself.
I have to pace myself, absolutely.
And so I can kind of be up today because I know I can go home and nap.
Yeah.
I know that I can sleep in till 10 tomorrow if I want to. I got nothing going tomorrow. So I'll be back in my 1 to 3 time slot tomorrow where I can wake up whenever I want to wake up. So that's the difference. It's only having to do it once.
I still have to be structured, but I have to be willing to adjust because no Adam this week. Yesterday it was Fletch. Donnie Brewer came in for 2 hours for the first time in a couple of years. Fletch out today. You're in. We still did our afternoon show together.
Mm-hmm.
Fletch back tomorrow. EH supposed to be in. So I'm still in that structure of what I have to do. But you talk about dealing with so many different personalities in a 3 to 4 day period. That's the part that probably...
Normally, that's all just in your head.
Yes.
Yeah, normally all the personalities are just inside of you.
But when you physically have to adapt to different people and their different personalities, those are the mornings that help the monotonous break up. Because, yes, you're still having to, like right now, we need to take a break.
Right.
And then we need to take one at 45. But within that structure, it's not me and Fletch talking, waiting for Donnie Brewer to come in yesterday. It's me and you talking, which is a whole different dynamic. Tomorrow, Fletch is back. It's a different thing we have. But then EH will come in, and he has a third perspective. So that's the part that keeps me kind of going because that'll keep me on my toes of, I have to pay attention because it's going to be different personalities, different subjects. But as far as, like right now, hey, guys, time to take a break.
I tell people all the time, they're like, what do you like about your job? And so I do 2 jobs. I host a sports talk show, and I do play-by-play for games. And what I tell them is it's always different. right? Like some people go to work and they know they're going to put a bunch of numbers into a computer, right? Some people go to work and they know they're gonna go through databases, whatever your job is. Some people know you go to work and you're gonna whatever you do, and it can be monotonous and rote. One thing that I know is that when I go into work every day, it is something different. You know, there's going to be different things to talk about. There's going to be different tangents that we go off on, and when I get into game broadcast, there's always something different. No two games are the same. That's why I love the job, because it keeps you on your toes. Much like trying to take another break, for freaking sake, right now, when we just got started talking again. Now it's, we got to take another break. By the way, I do want to hear from someone in Lafayette. Last time I hosted the show, we heard from no one in Lafayette. I want to hear from at least one person in Lafayette, because we're going to talk about the Cal softball game down at Yvette Girard Field. So we're going to talk about that, because it was controversy. We're going to discuss that, not next, but coming up. So I want to hear from someone in Lafayette. Where you listening? You're somewhere in Acadiana. I want to hear from you as the Tim Fletcher Show rolls on. I'm Patrick Netherton, filling in for Tim Fletcher. Got to take a break. There's no music going into the breaks. I'm always like waiting for Rogers to hit the bumper music, but there's not bumper music to hit. So I'm sitting here going, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to go into a break, and we'll just do that now.
When I think of Chevyland, I think of that beautiful Z71 1500 Silverado Crew Cab LTZ Duramax diesel engine, running boards. Oh, it's so nice. It's got the cooling seats. It's got everything. Oh, it's the dream truck at Chevyland, 7500 Erie Drive in Shreveport, Louisiana, 35.9 miles per gallon. From Shreveport to Baton Rouge, getting 27.8 miles per gallon in the city. Chevyland. Time now to play Is This a Frozen Daiquiri or Not? Brought to you by Daiquiri Express with our first contestant, Rogers Hambone Hampton.
Hey, Fletch.
Is this a daiquiri or not? Fuzzy Navel.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Bottled water.
No.
Ding, 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 ding. Liquid cocaine.
Oh, absolutely.
You're a winner on Daiquiri Express. Daiquiri or not? Night, sweetie.
Night.
Holy cow. How cold are your feet?
Be still.
No, I'm not your personal furnace.
See, we don't have to turn the heat on. I can just put my feet right here on
Hold
your
on,
back.
let me get out of the bed. Holy cow.
No.
Thank goodness AccuTemp came out, checked out the heater. It's ready to roll. Up the thermostat goes. I'm going all the way to 68. AccuTemp, cooling and heating this winter. I'm not your furnace.
Get back over here.
Sports World 8809, Juella in Shreveport, Louisiana, is your local uniform professionals since 1973. That's right, since 1973, they've been taking care of your school uniform needs, your softball uniform needs, cheerleader, baseball, football, basketball, you name it. And for you refs out there, oh, they've got you covered as well. They got the striped shirts, they've got the sunglasses, they got everything you need. Sports World, 8809 Juella, just off 3132.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger, Shreveport's home for LSU sports.
10-second music beds, Rogers. I come over here. I'm ready for Kate Bush. I want to run up that hill and run up that building. I got 10 seconds. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. All right, it's time for the SEC update, brought to you by the big ass fan people, right?
LSU update.
LSU update. That's
yes,
right. That was
yeah.
at the bottom.
That was Morrison DeWitt.
Yes. LSU update. The big ass fan people.
Brought to you by River Cities Lighting, 3908 Shed Road, 318-742-9918. River Cities Lighting, bringing bright ideas to people every day, Patrick.
By the way, I don't say that simply to cuss this early in the morning, but it is actually known as a big ass fan. That's the name of the fan. That's the brand name. Yeah. Look, I'm not just over here waxing poetic. All right. LSU women's basketball last night. The Lady Tigers, Rogers. We go with Lady Tigers? No, they're just Tigers. I was just being glib. LSU got it done last night against Texas A&M on the road at Reed Arena. By the way, beautiful venue, Reed Arena, if you've never been. LSU outscoring Texas A&M 36-14. They held A&M to 4 points in the second quarter. That was 10-minute span, 4 points for A&M as LSU ran away and hid. It was never really a game. They got up by 20-plus and basically maintained that lead the rest of the way. Double-doubles from both Anissa Morrow and Angel Reese. Anissa Morrow went 25-15 with 2 assists, only 1 turnover, 11 of 17 from the field. Angel Reese went 13-10 with 2 assists, also had 4 steals. Reese 5 of 10 from the field. The Tigers struggling from beyond the arc, 3 of 14, but it doesn't matter. They still shot 52% from the field as they went 28 of 45 from inside of three-point range. 44 points in the paint, 18 points off turnovers. At one point had a 31-point lead, getting it done against the Aggies of Texas A&M. Got good minutes, too, from Aaliyah Del Rosario, last year POA, but still struggling to get more than a 7-man rotation. Janae Kent, who looks like she could be that 8th person in the rotation, played just 3 minutes. And then the Scribinis came in for the last 25 seconds of the game. So big win for LSU. Won 4 in a row now, 22-4 overall, and 9-3 in SEC play. And that is your SEC update, brought to you by River Cities Lighting, home of the Giant fans and lights. Was that good, Roger?
That's really good.
Oh, thank you.
3908 Shed Road. Call 318-742-9918. Ask for Laurie, Heather, or Courtney. And remember, bringing bright ideas to people every day. River Cities Lighting.
And cooling them down when they get heated
Absolutely.
when they get heated about the clock being set 30 minutes
that's
ahead.
Another thing you found weird. It doesn't cool anything. It circulates.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Thank you, Rogers. One of the more amusing details that I learned like 2 years ago, that the fan doesn't actually cool the room. It just cools you. I always thought, well, hey, like you can set your thermostat, like if a room is 75 degrees and you turn a fan on, the room's going to be 73 degrees. No. The room is still 75 degrees. You just feel cooler because it's blowing wind on you. I don't know how I never knew that, but I found that out a couple of years ago, and it blew my mind. Explosions. All right. Call us if you like, 318-RALLY-45, 318-725-5945. Text us. Hey, text us at a couple different ways. Live Oak Waste Trash text line, 318-GUY-PILE, 489-7453. Or the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line, 318-6570-HAM, 318-657-0426. Get to a couple of texts here. The Bossier Chase arguing over time isn't great sports radio. Can't we all just get along, fellas? Bossier Chase, you clearly have never listened to the Patrick Netherton Show if you think that that's not great sports radio. Arguing about time is my favorite type of sports radio. Here's the thing, though, really. Like, seriously. It's 6:38 in the morning. Are you really tuning in to hear my piping hot sports takes? Like, do you mean to get into how the All-Star game and the NBA is a sham and a farce? Come on, man. It's too early for that. Like, can we just kind of ease into the day a little bit? You don't need me coming out here giving you piping hot sports takes.
7 o'clock hour, we're going to knock you on your socks, man.
You are not going to believe the hotness of the takes that will be coming out of my mouth at 7 a.m. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, because we got to do something really good in the next 2 hours because I got to replay one of those.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Wait, we're supposed to do a good hour?
We got to at least get one good hour in the next 2.5 hours.
Dang, Rogers.
So I can replay 9 to 10. Yeah. You negotiated your contract when you have to fill in for the master. that
Yeah.
you're just going to do 6 to 9 unless you have a co-host that can come in, and that didn't happen. So 6 to 9, you will be live, and I will pick the best hour to replay, or maybe just the best segments. But I'd rather have a really good hour, and that makes it a whole lot easier on the computer log.
It does make it easier. Well, Rogers, we'll shoot for 1 good hour.
Okay.
Today. How about that?
So for the next 20 minutes, sorry guys, it's just going to be total chaos.
I mean, I'm going to tell you why I found out fans don't cool the room; they cool you.
I mean, and we're talking about big ass fans, so if you need one, River City's Lighting.
And look, sometimes we'll run up that hill.
We will, and if you need anything else sports-related, Sports World. Hour 1 is brought to you by Sports World.
There you go.
Juella and 3132. Been around since the beginning of time. If you can't trust them, you can't trust anybody.
The Bossier Chase also said, didn't Patrick fill in for Fletch a couple of weeks ago while he had the flu? Yes. And again.
No, that was a different Patrick.
Yeah, it was a
Natrick Petherton.
Natrick Petherton.
Natrick Petherton.
My evil twin.
Absolutely.
He has just a goatee, Rogers.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Like Spock.
Evil twins always have goatees.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Star Trek episodes.
Mirror Universe Spock.
Spock became evil because they put a mustache and goatee on him.
Well,
and he did look evil.
Yeah, let's Mirror Universe Spock.
Yeah.
By the way, the Mirror Universe in Star Trek, they have visited it many times in many different series.
Not just in the original series.
They at least
because that parallel universe thing is kind of trippy.
At least 3 or 4 different series have gone with the Mirror Universe.
I dig that,
and they're always evil in the Mirror Universe.
I like that because it should be a different parallel, opposite universe.
Yeah, they're very evil. I want to know, like, okay, where's the parallel universe where, like, I didn't run over a squirrel when I was 27 years old, but, like, really nothing else in my life has changed?
Yeah.
Like, that's a mirror universe somewhere.
That's funny you almost
out
say
there.
that. I had to swerve to miss a possum in the road this morning.
Possum? See, that's when
he was dead in the middle of the road, and I was like,
Wait, was he already dead in the road?
I mean, I'm talking he was just sitting right on the yellow line.
He was Rogers.
He was either going to run into my tire. I got to swerve around him, but luckily he went into the empty lane for a second, and by the time he turned to come back under where he got run over, I just passed him.
Well, Rogers, he was playing possum.
He was. And then as I drove away, I looked in my mirror, and he was double birding me.
Yeah, with his little tiny possum hands.
Yeah, doing it.
Yeah.
He went just enough to the open lane.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Because that's the worst feeling when you hear ba-dump, ba-dump, then you hear it hit the bottom of your vehicle, because you know that's not a good outcome.
Here's like my best friend who hit a dog during his driving test.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Let me tell you what I know, Rogers, to be true. All right, this is a truism in life. If you are driving to go to your job and you have to swerve to miss a possum, you are up way too damn early in the morning. Like, if there are possums on the road when you drive to work, you are up much too early in the morning.
Well, dude, the reason the front of my truck is all bent up is a deer.
Oh, no, look,
I hit a deer one morning coming to work.
I've
but luckily, I was doing like 20 miles an hour on a street that was a city street.
And then the deer did 40 miles an hour.
Well, he came up out of a ditch onto the road. And luckily, I wasn't, doing 55, 45, 50. It was enough to where I tapped him, and it knocked him down, and he rolled over and jumped up and took off. But just hitting him broke my bug guard, dented my hood, took part of the rubber bumper off. I mean, it's not like I hit him and rolled over him.
Yeah.
I hit him, stopped it, knocked him down. He spun over and then jumped up and took off. When I stopped pulled over, my bug guard was shattered.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go out there right now and see. Look at the dent. Look at there was. And then when daytime came up that morning, you could see deer hair in the grill.
Yeah, I actually I've hit Rogers I've hit a deer twice, coming back from games like late at night.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And I one time hit a vulture while I was going across. Toledo Bend.
Were they eating a dead animal?
Yeah, they were on the road, and there were 3 of them. And so I'm driving, and I'm like, okay, well, they're going to hop up and get, because they know how it works, right? They stay in, they eat the dead animal on the road, and then they get out of the way for the vehicles. So I'm driving. First one gets out of the way. Second one gets out of the way. Third one jumps up, doesn't get out of the way. Like, just beat hell out of the front of my truck. I mean, he did a number on it. It was rough. How are we already taking another break? This is ridiculous. What is wrong with you people? Oh, my gosh. All right. I guess we'll take a break then. And then I have to remember that he doesn't play music for the break, so I have to just go to break because I guess. All right. I guess we'll be back, and we'll try to do one good hour sometime in this show. We'll see if we can figure that out. We'll be back.
My wife and I we ended up mildly sick for a few months, and the nasal congestion was probably the worst part. I had like a post-nasal drip, just super congested all the time. We were taking everything we possibly could, but nothing really worked.
Kyrie was miserable until a friend recommended Navage. Navage offers immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Don't live in misery this cold season. Use Navage so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
The biggest thing Navage has done has completely cleaned out my nasal passages. It was from the first use. I was able to just clear out anything that was stopping me from breathing correctly. Navage helps me clear the way, literally clear the way for me to operate better in the rest of my life.
Experience the Navage difference yourself. Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
It looks like your luggage is over 50 pounds. Is there anything you can take out?
Oh, yeah. Let me just toss all these $20 bills.
Great. Let me grab you a trash can.
Stop. Instead of throwing money away, move some clothes into a carry-on. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Our locally owned and operated small businesses are the heartbeat of our community. Industry aces stand out as leaders in their fields, like Down Home Meats, old school sausage done right. Dixie Floors, your one-stop shop for all your flooring needs. Arklatex Foot and Ankle Specialists, taking care of all your foot and ankle needs. Shreveport Bossier Family Dental, top-level care in a comfortable setting. Support one of these fantastic industry aces today.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger.
Hey, gang. It's a Tim Fletcher show. I'm not Tim Fletcher, for those of you that don't know. So today's goal we have set is to do one good hour. We're going to give you one good hour today. But the thing is, Rogers, we're going to give you one good hour twice. So technically, we're going to give you 2 good hours. And hey, look, Rogers, if you bat 500 in Major League Baseball, you're a first ballot Hall of Famer, the greatest player of all time. So, I mean, that's what we're looking for around here. A couple ways to get in touch with the show. Call us at 318-725-5945. That's 318-RALLY-45.
Hello.
You can also find us on the Live Oak Waste Trash text line, 318-GUY-PILE, 318-489-7453, or the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line, 318-6570-HAM, 318-657-0426. Don't forget to go subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Netherton Show. That's youtube.com/@Netherton Show. Go watch us. Go subscribe to us. We would appreciate it. Jonathan on the Live Oak Waste Trash text line said, big-ass fans, possums, squirrels, this is radio. Loving this morning. Thank you, Jonathan. You get this kind of nonsense from 1 to 3 every day here on 1130 The Tiger. It's what we do in the afternoons. Rogers, here's the thing. I would really be bad as a full-time morning sports talk guy because I'm too out there. You know, like people, like the guy who texted in Chase, the Bossier Chase, who said, this isn't sports talk radio. I was like, no, it's not. But this is what I enjoy. I enjoy just kind of, we're going to talk about sports. We're going to get into the headlines. We're going to talk about the fight between Incarnate Word and Texas A&M Commerce. We're going to discuss the Cal ULL softball game and what went down in that one, right? And we'll talk about NBA, and we'll talk about some college basketball. Houston got a big win last night. So, yeah, we're going to talk about sports, but we're also going to intermix it with some absolute insanity because that's what we do. And that's why my show works from 1 to 3 and is probably not really suitable for 6 to 10. just because it's a little too out there. Friendship Academy said, I was coming back from Baton Rouge on I-49, saw a pelican starting to swoop down, and it hit the windshield of the van in front of us. Feathers went everywhere. The driver just kept going. Well, I mean, if he didn't actually, if he didn't do anything to the windshield, then there's no reason to stop. I mean, what are you going to do? If it cracks your windshield, you're just going to have to go on. I had a rock jump off of a truck and hit my windshield and just spiderweb that thing like crazy, but it was on the passenger side. I also had one, Rogers, hit right where I was. Like, had it shattered the windshield, like, it would have hit me right in the face. But it just kind of, luckily the windshield took the brunt of it and kept me safe and protected. So thank you. Thank you, Glass, for being there to protect me. So we do SEC updates at the top of the hour. We do LSU updates at the bottom of the hour. I promise you the 7 o'clock hour is going to be so good. With so much sports, you're going to get so tired of talking about sports. You'll be like, man, this sports guy just talking about sports all the time. I'm sportsed out. This is too much sports in my life. No, we do have a few things to discuss, though. LSU women's basketball getting a big win last night, continuing their winning streak after dropping 2 in a row. The LSU baseball team remains undefeated. Tell you what, Central Arkansas, good pitching staff for the Bears, right? Kept LSU at bay twice. I think it was the first one was like 2-0, and then yesterday was like 3-2 or 4-2, something like that. So, yeah, kudos to the Central Arkansas Bear pitching staff. Rogers, I will give you $1 out of my pocket, which I think I have. I may have spent it at the boat the last time I went to the casino. All right, I'll buy you $1 worth of beer at lunch. No, wait, dinner. If you can tell me what the women's teams at UCA are known as. The men's team are the Bears, the Central Arkansas Bears, who just dropped 2 at LSU. Can you tell me what the women's teams at Central Arkansas are?
The Foxes?
They stay with the Bear theme.
The Cubbies?
Okay. Rogers, the women's teams at Central Arkansas are the Sugar Bears.
I would have never.
Yeah, you would have never in 100 million years. By the way, delicious breakfast cereal, Sugar Bears. That's not an actual breakfast cereal, Rogers. Don't hurt your brain thinking about it.
I think
there.
Yeah. You combine Sugar Smacks and
yes.
Okay.
The Sugar Bears is not a thing.
I was like, that could be a new cereal because me.
Yeah, neither one of us are cereal guys.
Because I was Sugar Poppin' and Sugar Bears, Sugar Baby. I was like, okay, where are we going with this?
No. Yeah, the Central Arkansas Sugar Bears, Rogers.
I would have never thought that.
I don't even know
in this politically incorrect world.
I don't even know what a sugar bear is. It sounds like someone who uses cocaine. Because they call it booger sugar or whatever. So
I mean that's what I called my first fiance was Sugar Bear, but that was very affectionate.
Aww. Rogers, according to Wikipedia. A sugar bear is a sweetheart or one's darling.
I see.
Yeah.
That's why it was a term of infection.
So there you go. Roger's Sugar Bear was the mascot for the Sugar Crisp cereal.
See, I knew those. I knew they were. You saw my mind.
Yeah, I saw your brain going.
Yep.
Sugar Bear was a Sugar Crisp, later known as Golden Crisp.
Yes.
Was a cereal produced by General Foods.
My childhood was flashing before my eyes right then.
Yeah.
And also the Elton John song "Someone Saved My Life Tonight." At one point in the middle, he calls his partner Sugar Bear.
Rogers, sugar bears are also a species of animal. They are a small tree-dwelling marsupial native to Australia, Indonesia, New Guinea, and Tasmania.
Like a koala bear.
They're actually more like the sugar gliders, little squirrels, squirrel-looking things that fly.
They fly?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go, Rogers.
See, if we'd have been talking about sports,
you never would have known
learned about the sugar bear.
And that's why they call me Mr. Know-It-All, Rogers, because I have that kind of knowledge. Sugar Bear, also a bike created in the 70s.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's a Sugar Bear model of a chopper-style bike. Yeah. So, also, Roger, Sugar Bear is a pro hair vitamin gummy that gets your hair back. So if you start losing your hair, which Rogers doesn't worry about, Hambone's not concerned about losing his hair. He's got a beautiful silver mane. Hambone's head of hair is absolutely, positively glorious. If you've never seen Hambone's head of hair, it's usually hidden by a hat anyway. So that I love Rogers taking calls. It's one of my favorite things. So we had the Daytona 500 finally go off. It was delayed, weather, and all of that. And a guy named William Byron. William Byron is it was the winner of the Daytona 500. It was Byron snapped a 9-race Daytona 500 losing streak for Hendricks Motorsports with a win on Monday. He crossed under the white flag, which, of course, is the final lap. At the exact moment a crash broke out behind him, the caution flag was thrown, and he wasn't sure if he was actually the winner as he circled the track. They got on the radio, and he kept saying on the radio, "Did we win it? Did we win it?" No one told him. Then his crew chief, Rudy Fugel, started crying. And he was like, I hope he's crying for a good reason. And it turns out he wrote. What, Don? Don, which is one of my favorite things from Hot to Trot, when the horse voiced by John Candy wins. Don on the
good morning.
What's the Mudbugs hockey hotline, right? Is that it, Rogers? Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm not used to all the sponsors in the morning. You know, it's too many. What's up, brother?
Well, first of all, thank you for coming in. That's a blessing. But my thoughts is the LSU. I also wanted to say I'm 61 years old, started driving at 17, hit my first deer, and here it is 41 years later. Sound like the same, I think it was Rogers hit one.
Yeah,
same,
he was driving to work.
Same situation. Mine was on a rainy night after work. But anyway, the LSU take from me is I'm going to watch them, look forward to it, hope they would repeat. But I see them as a bench with a bunch of kittens.
Yeah, it's
so
that's what they're going to run into, Don. That's the big issue for them is that when they lost the girl, Samaya, I can't think of her last name, Smith, I think. When she went down with the injury, she was supposed to be that first person off the bench that really kind of gets them where they need to be. She gets injured, out for the year, and now last year Poa, who is not bad, but is certainly not Haley Van Lith, and then Del Rosario, who is very good but a freshman. So yeah, I mean that's the problem. They're really only 7 deep, and that's going to be an issue when they have to play that second game on a tournament weekend, right? They win the first game, they get a day off, and then they got to turn around and play again. A day later. That's when you're going to see the issues for me with only having 7 players. Is that second game? So you get to the Sweet 16, and it's that first game, and then the second game and the Elite Eight is where I'm concerned. You get to the first weekend, that first game, you're going to have an easy opponent. You get through that. That second game is going to be a tougher opponent, and you're going to be tired. That's what concerns me with this LSU women's basketball team.
You nailed it. And my also thought is that any coach who is strategically trying to beat them is just going to foul the starters and get them off the floor. So that takes them to the bench.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, Don.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good call. Well done. Excellent work by you, Don. Now, Rogers, now I just need like 57 more minutes of good content, and we're good to go. And Hambone will be ready to go. That's all he needs. All right. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to talk a little bit about the the LSU basketball, LSU baseball. We're also going to get into Cal and softball against ULL and what went down there. And we got a brawl in the Southland that we've got to discuss.
So Hour 1 brought to you by Sports World on Juella off 3132 for all your sporting needs. Go to Sports World. And Hour 2 coming up is brought to you by Tipton's Texaco on Military Road in Ringgold, your full-service gas station. Tipton's Texaco.
I don't go to Ringgold enough, Rogers, you know?
I know. I just like saying that.
You need to visit Ringgold more
Looks
often.
like Ringgold. Somebody walked all over your service station.
By the way, Southland all over the Sports Center top 10 plays. Had one from the Commerce UIW game, had one from the Southeastern game against Lamar, and then we end with gymnastics and a perfect 10 from UCLA. Rogers, every time I look in the mirror, I say that's a perfect 10 right there. We'll be back.
Walk-On's athletes put everything they've got into the game. Walk-On Sports Bistro puts everything we've got into bringing you a game day with a taste of Louisiana. Catch all your teams on over 70 big screen TVs. Dig into our mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. It's all made from scratch with ingredients you can't help but crave. Walk-On Sports Bistro. We live for this.
Brewer Quality Home supporting the Tim Fletcher Show. Hester, you know old Donnie Brewer's got a little bit different managerial style than most.
Unconventional.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
He's never really hired the guy that runs Brewer
He
Quality
really
Homes.
hasn't. He just sort of won a Thunderdome-type competition, and now he runs the place, but no paperwork was ever filed.
No, I don't think so. Nate Dizzle basically won the Thunderdome.
Right.
And that's, of course, they've got a home named the Thunderdome.
Of course. Why wouldn't
they? What movie do you want Donnie Brewer to start naming homes after now? That's the next thing for Donnie Brewer, Brewer Quality Homes. If you could pick a movie for him to start using as names of his Cabco, Franklin, Jessup Homes, what would it be?
The Running Man.
Brewer Quality Homes, 3830 East Texas in Bossier City. Rogers, your pops was Mr. Shreveport, right?
Yes, he was. First ever.
Big muscle-bound guy.
Yes, he was.
You like muscles?
I do.
I like my cars with muscle.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Landers, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. They basically are the Mr. Shreveport Bossier of muscle cars.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, because they flex the Challenger and Chargers all the time. When you pull up next to one of those, it's almost like, is that Rogers Hampton Sr., like, embodied in a Challenger?
Especially the ones that were red, because he had red hair.
Landers, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram.
Whether your kid is lining them up on the gridiron and putting in the mouthpiece and getting after it, or maybe you got a kiddo who's a part of the Friday night spectacle of drill team and pep squads and cheerleading squads, guess what? Sports World's got you covered. You got a uniform need? Sports World, 8809 Juella, just off 3132.
KWKH and K277DO Shreveport, 103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger. Your home for LSU sports, a Town Square Media station.
All right, time for an hour of great radio, Rogers. Here we go. It's the Tim Fletcher Show. I'm Patrick Netherton. This hour is going to be laser focused. We're not going to talk about possums or the fleeting nature of time. This one's going to be focused, so much so that I'm going to immediately go into an SEC update right now, as brought to you by Morrison DeWitt Law. You have to tell me twice, Rogers Hampton. SEC Baseball Players of the Week announced for the first week of the season. And wouldn't you know it, Roger, Shreveport Bossier's own Hayden Travinsky, catcher for LSU, 7 for 11. That's a 636 clip. A homer, 4 RBIs, 8 runs scored, walked twice, hit by a pitch twice, on-base percentage of .733. 3 for 5 in the Sunday win over VMI with 2 RBIs and 3 runs scored. Also had a solo homer in the bottom of the 8th on Friday, with LSU holding on to that 10-8 lead, provided an insurance run in the Tigers' 11-8 victory over VMI. Your other players of the week on the baseball slate, Slate Alford from Georgia. Co-pitchers of the week, Carson Myers of Auburn had a 6 scoreless with 8 strikeouts against Eastern Kentucky. And A.J. Causey of Tennessee, as he went 4 2/3 scoreless in relief, struck out 7 against Texas Tech. Your freshman of the week is Justin LeBron James. It'd be great if his name was Justin LeBron James. Of Alabama, hit 667 over in the wins over Manhattan. The whole place, Rogers, the entire borough that Alabama had to play. The entire borough of Manhattan. That's tough. So there you go, your SEC baseball players of the week. On the freshman side, Justin LeBron of Alabama. Pitchers of the week, A.J. Causey of Tennessee, Carson Myers of Auburn. Hitters of the week, or players of the week, Slate Alford of Georgia, and LSU's own Hayden Travinsky from Shreveport/Bossier. From Shreveport, went to Loyola College Prep, then transferred, finished his career at Airline? I believe it, Airline. So there you go. There's your SEC update, as brought to you by our friends Morris and DeWitt. As Rogers said in the first hour, if you got an issue, you need a lawyer, call Morris DeWitt. Even if you don't have an issue and just want to talk to somebody, call Morris and DeWitt.
318-225-9934, 318-225-9934. Morris and DeWitt Law.
All right. Numbers to get in touch with us. You can call us at 318-RALLY-45, 318-725-5945.
Hello.
Hey, Coach O. You can reach us on the couple of text lines. The Live Oak Waste Trash text line is 318-GUY-PILE, 318-489-7453. You can also reach us on the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line at 318-6570-HAM, 318-657-0426. We're also available on YouTube, youtube.com/@Netherton Show. That's youtube.com/@Netherton Show. If you're watching and haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. And you can also leave your comments or questions or anything else over on the YouTube channel as well, on the comments on the live stream, and we will read those as well. All right. Had a brawl last night in the Southland Conference. Yeah, they played the feud. UIW, Incarnate Word in San Antonio. Rogers, UIW is a Catholic school, I believe. I believe they're Catholic. Well, Rogers, they were laying hands on the opposition last night. I can tell you that. Wait, is UIW Catholic now? Incarnate Word, right? That's got to be Catholic, right? Yes, UIW is in the Catholic faith. All right. So, laid some hands on everyone last night. Basically, if you didn't see what happened, UIW had a lead late against Texas A&M Commerce. These are two of the three bottom teams in the Southland Conference. So, they're trying to fight for their right to not party, but to get to the Southland Conference tournament. Only the top 8 go out of 10 teams. So, 2 teams are getting left out. Well, they, UIW had the lead late. Commerce comes down, scores. They tie it up. They go to overtime. They are tied in overtime. Commerce kid hits a big 3. UIW can't answer. Then they foul. Commerce hits a free throw. They end up winning by 4. Down to the handshake line. All right, everyone's going through the handshake line. Looks fine. Doesn't seem like there's anything going on or any ill will happening. Everything looked fine. Everyone was just kind of going along and seemed okay. And then the cameras, you suddenly saw people start kind of looking over, which is always your first clue that something's about to happen, with everyone looking over and like, okay, what's going on over here? So they start looking around. Next thing you know, people start running over to the end of the handshake line. And lo and behold, now we're playing the feud. We got guys pushing and shoving. We got guys throwing punches. We got guys, it was not a good look, basically. It ended up spilling out across the court all the way to the fan side, and according to the broadcast, someone in the stands got hit. But you couldn't really see that on video. You couldn't see anything like that to say whether or not, like, you couldn't see anyone in the stands get hit, or maybe I wasn't looking in the right place, because it did. It spilled from the press row side, table side, came all the way across the court into kind of the stands, or right in front of the stands, and started getting after it there. Well, I kind of wanted to see how it all started, so I found a longer view of it. And by the way, if you want to watch it, if you're just someone who likes to do that kind of thing, if you like to watch, you can go and go pull up the ESPN replay. And Rogers, I might do that during one of our breaks. Just pull up the ESPN replay and show it to you. But basically, started in the handshake line, spilled across the floor. Then they kind of started heading towards the locker rooms, and then there was another little brouhaha that broke out back on the other side of the court, so a bunch of people ran over there. Then they got everyone separated. Then they started to kind of go to their locker rooms, and at UIW, the Convocation Center it's a pretty small venue. It's basically like, I would consider it like a reasonably nice high school gym. It's not really big. It is kind of, I would say, probably seats 400 or 500, something like that. And so it is 2 sets of stands, no stands on either baseline. So there's nothing going on one side or the other. It's just on the 2 sidelines. And then, but the building itself is actually pretty large. It's a pretty good sized building. So you had them get after it, and the locker rooms are, if you can imagine the baseline, if you're watching on camera, all right, the camera's on the opposite side of press row. So the cameras are shooting press row. You see the benches on either side, which is pretty typical for cameras. They're usually on the opposite side. As you're looking at the camera, as you're looking at the floor, the locker rooms are on the right side past the baseline. The home locker room is to the right side on the baseline, or near where the camera would be set up, and the visiting locker room is on the left side of the baseline, and they're just doors. You walk out the baseline, there's like 5, 6, 7 feet of floor, and then you walk through a door and you're into your locker room. So they got everyone kind of settled in. Handshake line, brawl started, spilled across the floor. They got him kind of separated a little bit. Then a dude broke loose and went and was going to throw some haymakers. And by the way, the guy who got loose to throw haymakers was a guy named Marcus Glover. He broke loose of the main crowd, went over and was trying to go get one of the Commerce guys. He kind of sort of got there, but not really. They stopped him. Then another little thing broke out back up the floor. They went back to the left side, if you will, as you're watching on camera. They kind of went and broke that up, separated everyone, a lot of jawing as they went back into their locker rooms. And then UIW's head coach, Shane Hireman, comes out, and you can see him kind of walking around the floor. But you never see UIW again. You never really see Commerce again. They just stayed in their locker rooms at that point. I went back to look and see who started it. And from what I can tell, it began with some jawing between Prince Davies, who wears number 35 for Commerce in blue, and Josh Apoa, who wears number 35. And in this case, he was in white because that's UIW, at home. So near as I can tell, Josh Apoa and Prince Davies got into it. And then Alex Anderson, not to be confused with KTBS's own Alex Anderson Rogers, Alex Anderson was right there with Josh Apoa. They're both UIW players. They were both right there, and they started talking, and you could see there was some exchanging of words. What a beautiful wedding, they said. What a beautiful wedding, said the bridesmaid to her. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I know you don't play music on this station, Rogers, in the morning. But anyway, so Alex Anderson, Josh Apoa for UIW, Prince Davies for Commerce start jawing at each other in the handshake line. And then that's what started it off. They pushing and shoving. Everyone jumps in. UIW guys are running back in to get in the fray. And then, boom, we're playing the feud. This leads to an interesting question. And I would like to know your thoughts on it on either the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line at 318-657-0HAM, 318-657-0426, or the Live Oak Waste Trash text line, 318-GUY-PILE, 489-7453. Should we abolish handshake lines? A lot of momentum for that after all of these fights. Every time a fight breaks out, we want to abolish handshake lines. So I want to know your opinion. Handshake lines after basketball games, yay or nay? We'll discuss when we come back.
Life in Louisiana is a symphony of sound, colors, and movement. It's a celebration of moments, big and small, and Blue Cross is here for it all. You can rely on the strength of the cross and protection of the shield. Your card opens doors to a large network of top doctors to care for you. So live life knowing Blue Cross has you covered for the highs and lows and everything in between. The right card, the right care.
When Cynthia came to TurboTax, she had just launched her new side gig, a true crime podcast.
I'm a first-rate detective with a golden voice.
As her TurboTax expert, I made her second income count by guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and her maximum refund.
What did she do with that refund? Find out next week.
Switch to Intuit TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Who knew that wallpaper is making a comeback? I tell you who knew. River City's Lighting. Yeah, the same folks who have your interior lighting, your exterior lighting, your wall accoutrement. They also have your wallpaper. River City's Lighting, 3908 Shed Road, rivercitieslighting.com. Last time I checked, accidents don't have a schedule. They don't have a plan. They just occur. When that accident happens, Morris and DeWitt Law is there for you. 318-225-9934, 318-225-9934, morrisdewitt.com. The Power Hour of the Tim Fletcher Show brought to you by Tipton's Texaco, where they have brought days gone by back to the future. Old school gas station with a real live gas attendant that's going to fill up your vehicle, check the air, clean your windshield. They've got regular gas, premium, diesel, off-road diesel, oil changes, brakes, tires, and yes, Coke products and ices at Tipton's Texaco. Next time you're in Ringgold, stop by Tipton's Texaco, bringing you the Power Hour on the Tim Fletcher Show.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger.
Dun, 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 dun. Hey, this hour brought to you by Tipton's Texaco in Ringgold with 2 G's, Rogers. That is Ringgold.
I mean, they are a one and only full service station. So that ding ding right there is what you and I grew up on.
Yeah,
not the ding ding at the grocery
right.
store. You
yeah,
got
Rogers
ding -ding now.
Rogers refers to the self checkout at
As
Walmart as the ding ding.
But
He's
in
like,
our
I'm
life,
not doing
we
the
ran
ding
over
ding.
that rubber hose.
Right.
Front 2 tires, the ding ding. Back 2 tires, the ding ding. Serviceman comes out, fills up your gas, checks your air in your tire, does all that. You need anything inside? Coca-Cola products, Bluebell ice cream. Tipton's Texaco, Military Road in Ringgold.
Yeah. Huh.
Hey, nice 15 minutes of sports right there, Patrick Netherton.
By the way, Ringgold, Rogers, for a quick little Mr. Know-It-All segment for you. Ringgold, Louisiana, named after the soldier Samuel Ringgold.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
Who was not only a soldier, he was the hero of the Battle of Palo Alto in the Mexican-American War. And numerous communities are named after him.
Look at you.
And Rogers, he is the son of Samuel, the brother of Cadwallader. Or Cadwallader. I would have thought it'd be Cadwaller, right? Like Cadwaller.
Yes,
Cadwallader.
absolutely.
Yeah. Samuel Ringgold, Rogers. There you go.
Huh.
He is the reason why he's Ringgold, Georgia, Ringgold, Iowa, Ringgold, Louisiana, Ringgold Township, Pennsylvania, all named after Samuel Ringgold.
pretty popular guy.
So there you go.
A man of many parts. But the one you need to go to is in Ringgold, Louisiana.
There you go.
Tipton's, Texaco.
There you go. All right, so we're asking the question today, should we abolish handshakes? Not in general. I'm a fist bump guy. I always have been. I don't know, handshake. I'm not a germaphobe or anything, but to me, it's just so easy to just, boom, give a fist bump and let's keep going, which is what most of the handshake lines are now, right? It's just fist bumps, or they'll give you kind of the slap. There's no, like, actual handshaking going on typically. Coaches usually shake hands. The head coaches will shake hands, hug, whatever, or they'll shake hands and do the blow-by. But you typically see these the team, usually it's okay, right? They just kind of fist bump or they'll slap hands or whatever, and they'll keep going. Last night, as we mentioned, UIW with Prince Davies from Commerce and Josh Apoa of UIW, along with Alex Anderson, starting to get into it in the handshake line. That led to an all-out brawl. Punches were thrown. By the way, the Southland Conference did come out with a statement that I will read to you in a moment as soon as this pops up. It is, Southland Conference is aware of the end-of-game situation that occurred between Texas A&M University Commerce and the University of the Incarnate Word. Basketball teams tonight will be working closely with both universities to review the footage and issue appropriate disciplinary action. Unsportsmanlike behavior is unacceptable in the Southland Conference, and the safety of our student athletes, coaches, spectators, and officials remains a top priority. A&M Commerce and UIW released a joint statement. Quote, UIW and Texas A&M University Commerce apologize for the behavior exhibited by our respective men's basketball programs following the game on Monday night. The unsportsmanlike conduct that occurred after the game does not reflect the values of the universities involved, as well as the Southland Conference and their member institutions. The matter is currently being reviewed collectively by the conference office and both institutions. So there's the statement from the Southland. You've got to imagine suspensions are coming. They can't tolerate this. I would imagine at the very least that one player from UIW that I saw that was kind of involved was Elijah Davis, the point guard. He was well involved. Marcus Glover also was well involved. If you watch, you'll see number 9 and number 8 for UIW both really kind of getting in the middle of it. Prince Davies for Commerce seemed to be in the middle of it. He was certainly one of the ones that the reason that it started. So the question I have is, should we abolish handshake lines? And I'll be honest, I'm kind of two minds of this. Number one, most games don't reach the level of emotion or vitriol that a handshake line would turn violent or be an issue. But at the same time, is this a scenario whereby, hey, one time is one time too many? So that's my question. You can reach us a couple of different ways. We're available on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Netherton Show. That's youtube.com/@Netherton Show. Or you can text us on the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line, 318-657-0HAM, 318-657-0426. Or on the Live Oak Waste Trash text line, 318-GUY-PILE, 318-489-7453. They Just Kids said, do not abolish the handshake lines, and also don't abolish the passing out of oranges and high C's after the game. Well, now you're in a different realm. Now you're with kids, right? I don't think of kids as being the ones you got to worry about brawling. They don't really care that much. 10-year-olds, again, they want their high C and their orange. They want their orange slice. Of course, I don't even like pulp, but when you give me that halftime orange slice, I'm in. So, I at the lower levels, yes, because again, it doesn't matter that much. The kids should be playing for the fun of the game, for enjoyment. It's not that serious. Honestly, the people that suck the worst at youth sports are the parents. When you get the overbearing parent, the dads that are out there screaming and yelling, the moms you're yelling at the poor youth league umpire. Like, those are the people that need to get their head on straight. So handshake lines at that level, not a concern. I mean, look at the NBA, right? They don't do a handshake line. They all wave at each other from across the floor, which is always one of my favorites. Whoever's on the floor, they always, shake hands and kind of hug or whatever, and then they all start pointing and waving at each other from across the floor. I love the coaches doing it. It's like Doc Rivers, like, hey, buddy, all right, good to see you. Mike Budenholzer, all right. See you next week. Yeah, we'll be back in a few days. By the way, how about Kevin Ollie getting another job? Gets fired at UConn, sues UConn. Yeah. 318 said, absolutely not. Demand sportsmanship from your players. Now, look, here's the problem, okay? Number one, these are kids, right? High school, college. Yeah, but they're still, developmentally, they're still children. All right? Let's be honest. The emotions their emotions will always be somewhat more uncontrollable at that level. So, yes, it's easy to say they should have more sportsmanship, and it's easy to demand that and teach that and talk about it and harp on it, but in the heat of the moment, Asia, yeah, it is the heat of the moment. When that happens in the heat of the moment, it doesn't necessarily, like, some of that teaching and preparing and demanding kind of goes out the window, right? The baser instincts, the id, if you will, of your brain takes over, and it's fight or flight. It's, anger and rage. It is not the ego going, or the super ego going, hey, by the way, don't forget what the coach said. Be sportsmanlike. That stuff just kind of flies out the window at that point. So I like the idea of handshake lines, and I like the idea of let's be sportsmanlike and let's respect our opponents and, let's a good game, but it's not always that way in practice, right? You don't know. Those two guys could have been going at it for the entire game. Maybe somewhere on the floor, one guy cheap shotted the other guy and he's got it in for him. You just took a tough loss. What else? What else is there, right? We don't know what all the extenuating circumstances were from what went on before the handshake line, because it did not start in the handshake line. The fight started in the handshake line. The bad feelings certainly did not. 318 said, college players are adults. You're making excuses for them. No, I'm not making excuses for them. Fighting in the handshake line is not an excusable offense. What I'm telling you is these are still kids. You can say they're adults if you want to, but they're still immature. They are still kids. You're coming at this from a perspective of a 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-old, whatever, that has had life experiences and that has somewhat evolved, I'm assuming. You're coming at this from a completely different perspective, right? Let me tell you something. Rogers Hampton, when he was 19 years old and he was out on the basketball floor and some dude was punching him in the kidneys where the refs couldn't see, and he knew he'd be peeing blood coming up after the game, and he gets in the handshake line, and the guy, he's going to shake hands, and the guy's like, oh, you B, under his breath. You think 19-year-old Hambone's not going to react to that? Of course he is. He's an adult, but he's still a kid. And that's the thing to remember about. I'm all for abolishing handshake lines. I'm also all for keeping them and trying to teach your kids respect for your opponents and all of that stuff, right? I'm for all of that. I see both sides here. Now, just for the good of the game, I have no problem abolishing handshake lines. I don't think they add that much to what is the game experience. Those guys see each other before the game. If they're friends, they're going to talk to each other after the game. I really don't have a problem with them being just, hey, let's wave at each other, hey, good to see you, whatever. And if you're friends, you want to go and see each other, that's fine. But I don't necessarily need you, especially after a really hard-fought, tight game, tough game, right? If it's a 30-point blowout, who cares? No one's energy is going to be, no one's going to be that emotional about it. But you just come off a tough overtime game. You're fighting for your right to go to the Southland tournament. Your tournament life is at stake, and there's going to be some fire built in there. And so I get it. So if you want to abolish handshake lines, I'm okay with it. I'm not saying I'm in favor of it, but I'm fine with it. If you think that's the solution, okay. Got no problem with it. 318 said, what's the responsibility of a coach? Well, you, of course, try to teach these things, but you can't control the emotion of a 19-year-old kid. Like, yeah, you absolutely preach sportsmanship and treating your opponent with respect and doing the right thing. And if he cheap shots you, you turn the other cheek and go the other way and just take it and, don't worry about it. You teach all of those things. But do you think when the 19-year-old rage comes out and they just see red and the ego pops off and the id just pops to the forefront, you think those kids are hearing the coach in the back of their head going, hey, don't do this, be sportsmanlike? No, they're just feeling rage because they're kids. You can say they're adults, but they're still kids, man. They're still 19. They're still immature. They're not emotionally developed yet. And that's the problem. Now, is this a big enough problem in the world of college athletics to make this something we no longer do? We'll talk about that when we come back. Is this a widespread enough problem that we need to address it, or is this something that's being addressed where there's not really a problem there? We'll discuss that when we get back. It's the Tim Fletcher Show, as guest hosted by Patrick Netherton. We'll be back.
The Power Hour of the Tim Fletcher Show brought to you by Tipton's Texaco, 2630 Military Road in Ringgold, Louisiana. Boys and girls, this is an old school gas station with a true, real, live gas attendant that's going to fill up your vehicle, check the air in your tires, clean that windshield, going to have the parking lot all spiffy. Got regular gas, premium, diesel, off-road diesel, oil changes, brakes, tires. It's going to be absolutely outstanding. And yes, they've got Coke products and ices at Tipton's Texaco, 2630 Military Road in Ringgold, bringing you the Power Hour. You know, Roger, some people say I'm a ham.
Oh, a big old ham.
Oh, thank you, sir. When it comes to big old hams, you and I know there's really only one place to go.
Big old honey baked ham.
You got that right. Honey baked ham, whether it's July 4th, whether it's Labor Day, whether it's Thursday. I'll take a ham from Honey Baked Ham.
Honey, please get me a honey baked ham.
Southfield Shopping Center in Shreveport. Live Oak Waste is here to take care of your trash every single day. Why are you worried about that? That is the last thing that should be on your mind. You've got a business to run, a school to take care of, a restaurant to take care of, a retail center. Why are you worried about your trash? Stop fretting. Just call Live Oak, 230-7125, 230-7125. Hit the website, liveoak-environmental.com. Live Oak Waste, bringing you the text line on the Tim Fletcher Show. Long been a fan of Cormier Family Dentistry, 868-4072, the dynamic duo of dentistry, Adam and Jenna Cormier, i.e. Starburst, for the reason to send me to Cormier Family Dentistry. East Kings Highway across from Albertsons next to Drug Emporium. GBT is the great banking team, 3400 Line Avenue, Mansfield Road, Williamson Way in East Texas next to the Bellagio. Ain't no bots at GBT, folks. Real live human beings answering the phones in the teller window, and when you go into the bank, real humans. GBT, the great banking team.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger, Shreveport's home for sports.
It's the Tim Fletcher Show, as guest hosted by Patrick Netherton here on 1130 The Tiger, 103.3 FM. And what are we down in Lafayette, Rogers? The Goat. 103.3 The Goat. So we're 103.3 in both Shreveport and Lafayette. Something like that. Yeah, we're getting you close. Yeah. So, just kind of go around. Yeah, Roger, it is 103.3 The Goat. I just looked it up. And by the way, hi to everyone in Lafayette. By the way, they had some fun controversy with Cal coming in during their softball game. If you didn't hear about that, had some booing going on. Cal players were kneeling for the anthem. The Lafayette fans, as you might imagine, were none too pleased with that. And then had a rain delay that was supposed to happen but didn't happen. And the Cal coaches got mad. Assistant coach got thrown out. Catcher got thrown out. The whole thing. We're going to talk about that as well coming up. We're discussing handshake lines right now after UIW and Texas A&M Commerce got into it last night. My question is this. Should we just abolish handshake lines, right? Do what the NBA does. NBA abolished it, right? They just wave at each other. Rogers, in hockey, right? In the NHL, they go and do their series, and they don't shake hands after the game, right? They wait until after the series is over, then they get together and shake hands. I don't know. I honestly haven't watched enough hockey to know if they shake hands after every game or not. But at least during the playoffs, they only shake hands at the end. They all get together and do the whole thing. Kind of the finality of it. So I'm curious, where are you on shaking hands? Doc Marvin said, no, be a man, respect the opponent. How else are they going to learn? Punish the few. Well, they're going to get punished. I mean, the folks that were involved are going to get suspended. Like the Southland will be handing out suspensions. There's no doubt about it. They're reviewing the videotape and got to figure out where to go with it. But they will no doubt be handing out some punishments. All right, SEC update, Rogers. We need or LSU update. Yeah, LSU update. River City's Lighting, home of lights and fans. Big ass fans. Fans that are so large, you'll think that there's a really big fan above you. You'll be amazed by the amount of air that is circulating around your body, making you cooler but not the room. LSU took on Central Arkansas in the finale of the 4-game series with LSU, Central Arkansas, and VMI. LSU got a 3-0 lead in the first, took a 4-1 lead in the third, and then Central Arkansas a run in the 6th, a run in the 8th to make it 4-3. LSU ended up holding on to get the victory. Cade Anderson got the start, struck out 6 in 4 innings, and then it was a cavalcade of folks: Christian Little, DJ Primo, Gavin Guidry, Justin Lohr, and then Fidel Ulloa. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Fidel Ulloa got the save, throwing the final inning. Bryce Parlin of Central Arkansas, 2 2/3, 4 earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. But how about relief work from Gavin Alvetti? Gavin Alvetti from Central Arkansas went 5 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts to keep UCA in it. But ultimately, a little too much from LSU, including Hayden Travinsky picking up a single to start the scoring, hit one to left field for the RBI. Also, Jared Jones with another home run. He's already hit a couple so far this season. So LSU now 4-0 to start the season. Some close wins and one very, very lopsided win in there as well. So that's your LSU update, brought to you by River City's Lighting, home of the big-ass fans and the big-ass lights. And I don't think Big Ass has lights, do they, Rogers? I don't think that's a thing. I think it's just the big-ass fans and lights, which are probably large, but I don't know if they're actually labeled with that particular business. All right, get to some more texts on the Live Oak Waste Trash text line. We're talking about abolishing handshake lines. Where do you fall on? I honestly know this is the worst thing to say in sports talk radio, but I don't care. Right? If someone comes out and goes, hey, we're going to stop doing handshake lines, I'm going to go, okay, fine. And if they go, you know what, we're going to keep doing handshake lines and we're going to just tell kids they have to be better sportsmen, okay, fine. Right? You're just going to just understand this is going to happen every so often. Tempers are going to flare, kids are going to get mad, and you're going to have the occasional brawl break out in a handshake line. That's just how it works. Sometimes, Rogers, remember last year, it was the McNeese coach going after Northwestern State's coach in the handshake line. It was John Aiken, not Will Wade, but John Aiken, who got mad at Corey Gibson. And they went after it. Aiken got in Gibson's face, and then a Northwestern State GA pushed Aiken. And they didn't have an actual fight, but there was some pushing and shoving and the hold me back. So it's not like it doesn't happen. Even coaches, right? These are the guys that tell their guys to, hey, be sportsmanlike and mind your emotions. Northwestern State and McNeese just last season, John Aiken got in the face of Corey Gibson. One of the Northwestern State GAs pushed Aiken. So it's easy to say, hey, tell the kids to be better, but sometimes the coaches aren't better. You know, Rogers, we had the anniversary a couple of days ago of John Chaney rolling up in the press conference telling John Calipari he's going to kill him. They ended up becoming friends and kind of laughing about it, and but it's easy to sit here and say, hey, tell the kids to be sportsmanlike, but the coaches aren't necessarily that either. Sweet Lincoln's Mullet said, I don't think they should do away with it. College baseball doesn't do handshakes, right? Or does it only happen after Game 3 of the series? I can't remember. It happens after Game 3 of the series. So first 2 games of a 3-game series, the teams shake each other, shake themselves, shake their own hands. They do like this, Rogers. They just grab their own hand and shake it. No, they do their own. Everyone goes in the line, and then the line snakes back, right? And so then they gather and talk. The opposing team usually does it out in the field because it's usually the bottom of the 9th, so that they're on the field. The guys that are in the field come in. The guys from the dugout come out. They shake hands kind of around the dugout. The coaches go and meet at the plate. The coaches all shake hands at the plate. The teams never meet. One team is over in foul territory. One team's out in the field, shaking their own hands like their own teammates, right? And then they go and they meet. Usually one goes to left field, one goes to right field. They meet with their coaches, and then they go from there. And then in Game 3, when the series is over, then the 2 teams get together. They shake hands at the mound, basically. Again, the coaches meet at the plate, shake hands. Teams meet at the mound, shake hands, and you go from there. Much like a hockey playoff series, the handshakes don't happen until the end. Much like the NBA, right? The NBA doesn't have handshakes during the regular season, but come the playoffs and the end of the playoff series, now all the guys are out there. Good luck. Hope you win it, blah, 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 all that. So, yes, baseball players do not shake hands with the opposing team until the end of a series. Johnny said, my 10-year-old plays travel soccer. It's been a tough season, but after every game, he lines up and says, good game. I think he learns more in that line that's applicable to the rest of his life than the rest of the games. Look, there is some truth to the idea of, sometimes you have to just wear it, right? Sometimes you get beat. Sometimes, Rogers, the breaks are beating the boys, and you got to win one for the zipper. Old George Zip. He said, Doc, I don't know how good I'll feel, but I probably won't smell too good. Yeah. Funny enough, Over Macho Grande is actually from Airplane 2. Yeah, I thought it was in Airplane 1, but it's actually in Airplane 2. I'll never be over Macho Grande. No, I'll never be over Macho Grande. Sometimes you got to win it. Docky said, old George Zip. Win one for the zipper. It's sometimes you do have to learn a lesson, right? Sometimes things are not going to go right in your world. Sometimes you're not going to win the game. You're not going to get the job. You're not going to get the promotion. You're not going to get the girl, whatever the case may be. Look, if anyone's had any experience with not getting the girl, it's yours truly. My life has been nothing but not getting the girl. All right? But I'm not out there punching anybody because of it. I mean, I'm punching my pillow at night, come on, punching a wall at the house, punching air, as they say. But yeah, it is a good lesson, but also 10-year-olds, let's be honest, 10-year-olds, the level of emotion, the level of hormonal dysregulation has not hit a 10-year-old. Okay? They don't have an overwhelming abundance of testosterone coursing through their veins that tells them, beat the hell out of this guy that just cheap-shotted you for 2 hours. All right? Like, that's not something that 10-year-olds deal with. It's a good lesson. The problem is the lesson to be learned is how to control your hormonal rage. Right? That's the real lesson to be learned here. Cookie Man said, no, hockey can have a handshake line without problems after beating and banging on each other and actually fist fighting. If there's a problem, have stuff, penalty, suspension, or expulsion from the team. Yeah, the difference is the hockey players get to fight. They get to do it legally. You literally just made your own argument against yourself, Cookie Man. The hockey players get to fight. Yeah, they get to break the rage out and do it legally. Now, you get thrown in the penalty box for 8 minutes or 4 minutes or however many minutes they put you in the penalty box, but you get to express your rage. You literally get to fight in hockey. Like, they put it in the game. How about this? Second half, 7:49 left to go. Rogers Hampton is tired of Jim Smith elbowing him in the kidneys when he's lining up in the post. So he throws his headband down, and then that means we get to fight. Everyone else gets out of the way, and Rogers and Jim Smith get to just throw hands for a few. You know, Rogers pulls his jersey over his head, hits him a few times. Jim tries to put some punches back on him, but Rogers is too good. He's too good at fighting. He's also got a lower center of gravity, so he's coming in with those solar plexus shots. And then, you know, they go to the ground, and then the officials come in and break them up. Rogers has to sit for 2 minutes. Jim Smith has to sit for 2 minutes, and then they come back out on the floor. You know what? They're not going to fight in the handshake line because they just fought there. That's what hockey is. So don't come at me with hockey players are good sportsmen. They literally fight on the freaking ice. We'll be back.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We are told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger, Shreveport's home for LSU sports.
Patrick Netherton Show? Nope, Tim Fletcher Show. As hosted by Patrick Netherton. I'm used to saying Patrick Netherton Show. It's too easy. All right, we're talking about fights in sports and abolishing handshake lines. Got more folks on the Live Oak Waste Trash text line. 318-GUY-PILE, 318-489-7453. Or find us over on the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line. That's mine in the afternoon. 318-657-0-HAM, 318-657-0426. Cookie Man chimed in with hockey players can have a handshake line after literally fighting each other during the game. Yeah, thank you, Rogers. Oh, yeah. Bum, dun, 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 bow, bow. Oh, Chubbs. Apollo Creed, baby. We lost him. Yeah, let's laud a sport for their sportsmanship that actually literally gets to fight. on the ice. Rogers, new rule, 6:13 left to go in the third quarter. Russell Wilson gets mad. He just happened to pop up on the screen. That's why I'm mentioning him. He's literally on the screen right now. Russell Wilson gets mad at a low hit from Kansas City's Chris Jones. He pulls his helmet off, throws it on the ground. Chris Jones throws his helmet on the ground, and they get to fight. And then they both get, suspended for 2 minutes, whatever. Then they're back in. Like, yeah, a lot of this would be abolished if we let guys legally fight each other. Cowboys said there are more fights during games, so let's just cancel all games. Look, fights are going to happen everywhere, but the handshake line is not integral to the game itself, right? The handshake line is just something that someone decided we would do one time. And it's like, hey, that sounds like a good idea. Let's all get together and hug and shake hands. This is not something that we have to have as part of the regular occurrence of a game. That's the difference. Dan the Man said Russell Wilson would be dead then. Yeah, it's not a great example, Dan the Man. It'd be more like if the offensive tackle got mad at Chris Jones and then they fought, right? Like, it'd be a little bit more. Doc Marvin said, plus if abolished, that's 4 segments Netherton would have to make up for. Yeah, I mean, look, so be it. We just have to talk more about possums and hitting pelicans and squirrels and buzzards and stuff. All right. So, yeah, the fights during the course of a game are one thing. The game is that we need to play the games. We don't have to have a handshake line. It's not something that's necessary. Ohio players said, I can't stand the fake handshake lines where they put their hands in the air and sort of high five. Actually shake hands if you're going to do it. Yeah, but it's so germy. You don't know where that guy's hand's been. Like, here's the thing. I would be more than happy to shake a whole line of hands if at the end of it there's a student manager with some Purell, and I'm not even a germaphobe. As Rogers can tell you, like, I'm not one of these guys, I'm not a germaphobe at all. I'll eat stuff off the floor. I don't care. Not like a dirty, dirty floor. I wouldn't eat it off the floor of, the bathroom. Yeah, I would not eat something that disgusting. But if I drop a chip right here, I'm going to pick it up and eat it. Of course, waste a chip. So I'm not a germaphobe, but I also think I'm not a big handshaking guy. Like like Rogers and I fist bump at the end of every show. Like, hey, all right, see you tomorrow, fist bump. Like, Rogers, I don't need to shake hands. I know what his hands feel like, caressing me, my face. Wait, I'm sorry. That must have been a dream I had the other night. Yeah, no, you can't play any of the songs you really want to play, Rogers. So, I'm okay if they want a fist bump just through the line. I would be okay with that more so than I would be okay with a handshake. But if you want to shake hands or hug or guys know each other, that's fine. Yeah, a little bro hug, I don't mind that. Pound each other on the back because we can't show intimacy. We have to still be tough while we're being vulnerable. Yeah, you gotta. My favorite part, Rogers, about the bro hug is the keeping of the arm between you so that you can't literally, you can't actually touch each other. You're like going arm to arm. You might get a little bit of shoulder. Then occasionally you accidentally kiss, oh wait, I'm sorry. No, that doesn't happen. That never happens. That's never happened to me once or twice. But yeah, you put the arm right there and you do the arm barrier, boom, you clasp hands, you go for the bro hug. It's not an open hand on the back. It's got to be a fist. You can't be caressing someone on the back with your open hand. You got to keep the arm in front so that you've got you're really hitting arms more than anything else. Can't be showing any intimacy there. Fist bump said, I'm an advocate of fist bumps and pumps. I think the punishment needs to have teeth. If I know I will miss the rest of my senior season, I may think twice. But that's the problem, right? You're not thinking of consequences in the middle of that scenario. Also, these are two teams that have been on the bottom end of the standings, right? So their seasons aren't going anywhere. It's not like one of these two teams is going to win the conference tournament and go to the NCAA tournament. They're just kind of playing out the string. So it's not like they have some sort of amazing motivation to bring, to be super level-headed and, hey, I gotta remain in. If this is a first-place team or if this is a team fighting for a bye, right, you would expect better out of a team that's in second or third that's trying to win a championship versus a team that's in last or second to last that's maybe hoping to get to the tournament at all and knowing they're not going anywhere. Johnny said basketball fights are the best. One of my formative memories was a fight in a Razorback basketball game sometime in the 90s, maybe the Corliss Williamson era. Yeah, the main problem with basketball fights is there is no protection. If you're in a hockey fight, you got pads on, you have a helmet on unless they rip it off of you. You have a stick, but nobody swings a stick at each other. Yeah, I will say this for hockey fights, there is a sense of decorum in them. They only use fists. They don't low blow. It's not like a guy slashes the other dude with his skate. They're not trying to kill each other. They're just trying to send a message. But in basketball, you got nothing, man. If a basketball fight breaks out, you got a little piece of cloth between you and getting your ribs broken. So I respect basketball players. Football players, you got helmets and pads on. I do love when any football player takes his helmet off in a fight. What are you doing, man? And also, people that punch another guy with a helmet on. Also, what are you doing? Yeah, you only do it once. Yeah, you break your hand. Hey, you want to know a good way to break your hand? Go ahead and punch a guy who's wearing a helmet. It's dumb. Basically, what it amounts to is you are dealing with the emotions of kids who are full of hormones, nothing but testosterone, and no matter how much you teach them, no matter how much you harp on it, no matter how much you talk about it, if the right thing sets them off at the wrong time, you're going to have a fight. And you exacerbate the chances of that when you put guys in handshake lines. And again, I'd love to tell you that it's just the kids, but John Aiken at McNeese got in Corey Gibson's face. They're the two head coaches. They're the guys that are supposed to be better than this. And to Gibson's credit, he didn't really respond. He just kind of walked away. But Aiken was all kind of fired up and got in Corey's face. Gibson didn't really say anything. And then the GA, who's, by the way, a young kid, right? He's in his 20s. The GA comes in and pushes the coach. Right. It's not even the older guys can have hot-headed moments. So let's not act like this is simply a kid thing. Teach them better, discipline them harder. Like, did John Aiken, by the way, Aiken didn't get suspended for anything. He had no, I think they just gave him like a reprimand. But did he, it's not like he had any consequence to bear. And he went and he was the instigator, right? And he's the head coach. So let's not act like this is simply something we can wash away with, okay, just tell the, hey, coach, don't, just be harder on them or discipline them better or teach them better. Rogers, sometimes you got to teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Sexual chocolate. That's a good way to end the hour, don't you think, Rogers? A little sexual chocolate. Thought that might be. Look, here's what it boils down to. This is an emotional game played by emotional folks. 99% of the time, they regulate those emotions. They get in the handshake line. Maybe something's said. Maybe something isn't. They get through it, and nothing happens. But the handshake line is a 100% unnecessary aspect of athletics. I like it. I love the idea of being sportsmanlike. I love the idea of, hey, let's get together and let me congratulate you on a job well done, or console you and tell you, hey, get them next time. At least good game, quality effort, whatever. I am absolutely for that idea. But college kids, with their emotions, and by the way, college kids also much more likely to trash talk to each other in the handshake line. You add all that together, and I think I'm for abolishing handshake lines. I would be, hey, let's give you a wave. If you have friends on the other team, you want to go talk to them, you want to, whatever, fine. But the actual formal, let's stand up and let's walk next to each other and fist bump or hand slap or high five, good game, good game, good game. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think we need it. And all it's doing is 99% of the time it's fine, but the 1% of the time it's not is everything we dwell on. And that's a problem in college athletics. We need more good things and fewer bad things to dwell on when it comes to college athletics. We'll be back.
The Power Hour of the Tim Fletcher Show, brought to you by Tipton's Texaco, where they have brought days gone by back to the future. Old school gas station with a real live gas attendant that's going to fill up your vehicle, check the air, clean your windshield. They've got regular gas, premium, diesel, off-road diesel, oil changes, brakes, tires, and yes, Coke products and ices at Tipton's Texaco. Next time you're in Ringgold, stop by Tipton's Texaco, bringing you the Power Hour on the Tim Fletcher Show. Mac McCarter has been making Shreveport-Bossier better for many, many years. Community renewal, making Shreveport-Bossier a more welcoming, more inviting, healthier, friendlier place, one house at a time, one neighbor at a time, one block, one neighborhood, one community. Community renewal, 318-425-3222, communityrenewal.us. See what you can do to help make Shreveport-Bossier better than ever before. What a country! Your beautiful brand new Silverado is just one click away. Chevyland.com/specials. Chevyland.com/specials. Chevyland, helping out the Fletcher Show for a long, long time. We know that when the air conditioner goes kaput, we call Accutem. When the heat's on the fritz, you call Accutem. The best way to get this whole thing started is when you begin to put in a new unit, just call Accutem. No more kaput, no more fritz. 861-2255. Cormier Family Dentistry has been with us for quite some time for a good reason. They're really nice. Their staff, warm, welcoming. They take the anxiousness out of going to the dentist. Cormier Family Dentistry, 868-4072. Adam and Jenna Cormier, the dynamic duo of dentistry. Don't dilly, don't dally, don't waste before you are left on the outside looking in. Great shows are coming to Louisiana Grandstand soon. Get your tickets now. LouisianaGrandstand.com. You don't want to be on the outside looking in when the show starts.
KWKH and K277DO Shreveport, 103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger. Your home for LSU sports, a Town Square Media station.
Rogers, why is it so early in the morning? It's still early in the morning. Why? Please explain this to me. At least it's light outside now and the sun's shining. It's supposed to be a beautiful day today. You two. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, we're supposed to have us basically a pre-spring week this week.
Yeehaw. So, Rogers, it is SEC update time.
It is, my good sir, as again brought to you by Morrison DeWitt. But this time we are now in the Power Hour from 8 to 9, brought to you by Brewer Quality Home.
Yeehaw. Rogers, did you know, speaking of SEC updates, that the SEC Swimming and Diving Championships got underway. Did you know, Rogers, that it happened at the James E. Martin Aquatic Center, home of the Auburn Tigers, as Jake Hester would say, Auburn. Rogers, in the B final for the men's 1 meter springboard, Samuel Duncan of Kentucky hit a 3:54.05. Do you know how crazy a 3:54.05 is, Rogers? I have no idea. I'm asking you if you know how crazy it is, because I definitely do not. He was followed by Alan Bottega of Texas A&M and Carson Paul of LSU. And for the first time in SEC championship history, team diving events were added. Each team has 3 divers who combine to complete a 6-dive list, comprising a dive from each group and no more than 2 from any of the various apparati, 1 meter, 3 meter, and platform. In the women's team event, Rogers, them LSU Fighting Tigers won it. Florida took second, Auburn third. Meanwhile, the A final of the men's 1 meter, Victor Posner of Texas A&M finished first. Rhett Hensley of A&M finished second. And Connor Giesing of Florida finished third. Day 2 of the 2024 SEC Swimming and Diving Championships includes the time trials coming up in 2 hours, followed by preliminaries of the women's 1 meter and the B final of the same event at 4:20, Rogers' favorite time. The inaugural men's diving team event will take place. And by the way, all of them can be viewed on SEC Network Plus. And that is your SEC Swimming and Diving Championship update. Brought to you by Morrison DeWitt Law. Morrison DeWitt Law. We love us some SEC swimming and diving. I believe that's their slogan, right, Rogers? I think that's the slogan. Yeah. I thought that was right. All right. So we have decided by vote of me against everyone else that we are abolishing handshake lines because they're unnecessary. They mean nothing to the actual event, and they literally it's doing a good job repeatedly. No one notices. Like offensive linemen, Rogers. When do we notice offensive linemen? When they get called for holding or when they false start. When do we notice the long snapper? When he boots one back there and it goes, under the snapper or 5 feet over his head, over the kicker, right? The handshake lines are the same way. We never notice them until something goes wrong. So I say let's just do away with them. So there you go, Roger. I believe that's all I have to do, right? Just say that they're going away and now they're done. I believe that's how that works. I have that power. Makes sense. Meanwhile, for the ULL fans out there, or UL fans as the case may be, I don't know why Louisville fans are listening to this show, the Cal Ragin' Cajun softball game, in case you missed it, Cal was up 1-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning. There was a runner on second base, and a rainstorm hit, right? Big torrential downpour. Weather conditions got nasty. It was kind of gross. And so Cal's coaches came out to ask for play to be suspended. The umpires said no, which is honestly the correct call. Unless you get just a massive rain squall or you get lightning in the area, you are not going to suspend a game for a little rain. It's just not the way it is. So the umpires decided they would not suspend the game, keep going, runner at second, 1 out, and you have a wild pitch because the ball's wet. That moves the runner, advances the runner from second and third, advance the runner from second to third, and then they protest again. Nothing happens. Next pitch, slips out of the hand, wild pitch, runner from third scores, tie ball game, end up going to extras, and the Cajuns ended up winning in extras. And that basically led to it wasn't really a melee. It was just a lot of harsh words. Assistant coach comes out, immediately gets tossed. Apparently the new rule in college softball is if an assistant coach protests anything with an umpire, it's an immediate ejection. So the assistant coach gets run. You're gone. Head coach, of course, none too happy. And then something happened along the way. Yesterday was all we had. Yeah, so something happened between the Cal catcher and somebody else. And they never showed a replay of any of this on the broadcast. I was a little disappointed in the ULL broadcast because I was hoping to see some replays. Right? You want to stay with what the action on the field is because there's arguing. The head coach is arguing with the umpire. But, at some point you got to run a replay in there. And maybe they did later. I just didn't see it. But in the moment, hey, let's see what the catcher did to get ejected. Because the Cal catcher got ejected. And I think one of the ULL players got ejected as well. But we didn't really see any of that. So I would have liked to have been able to see, hey, what happened with the catcher and whomever that got them ejected. We never saw it. So the Cal catcher gets ejected. The assistant coach gets ejected. I think someone from ULL got ejected. And then they kept playing. They go to extras, and ultimately ULL won in extra innings. And then they came back and beat hell out of Cal in the second game. But the controversy started with Cal kneeling for the national anthem. Now, I am 100% in favor of free speech, expressing your whatever it is you want to say. I don't actually have a problem with people kneeling for the anthem. The problem you run into is, what is your message? All right, what are you kneeling for the anthem for? And that, to me, is ultimately the issue. You want to kneel for the anthem. When everyone was kneeling for the anthem because of, the racism, police brutality, all that stuff, I understood what their cause was. Whether I agreed with them or not, I understood what they were protesting. And this is a country of free speech. All right? Freedom of speech, I like to tell you, freedom of speech is not freedom from consequence, but freedom of speech means that you can say anything, and I will protect your right to say that even if I vehemently disagree with what you're saying. Now, you can't go into a movie theater and yell fire. You can't go onto an airplane and yell in an airport and yell bomb, right? You can't do those things. You're going to suffer consequences for it. You can't threaten the president because the Secret Service is going to show up at your doorstep. All right? So again, you're free to say it, but that doesn't mean there aren't consequences. Rogers, if I get on here and I start F-bombing and dropping every curse word in the business, and our manager here decides to fire me, well, I had the freedom to say it, but that doesn't mean there aren't consequences. So again, I am all for your right to protest, your right to speak up for yourself for whatever you feel your cause is, whether you're super left-wing, super right-wing, whatever. Right? I stand up for your right to voice your opinion. The problem you run into here is I don't know what your opinion is. The Cal players were kneeling for the anthem, which, fine. If that's how you choose to protest, so be it. You may not like it. I may not like it, but I respect your ability and your right to have that choice. I don't know what you're protesting. What are the Cal players protesting? Are we going back to the George Floyd and racism and cops and all that stuff from years ago? Is this something completely new? We don't know. And of course, as you might expect in a red area like Lafayette, that didn't go over very well. You had folks in the stands yelling at them to stand up, booing them, liberal wokeness, all this stuff, whatever. Again, I don't have a problem with you protesting. I don't have a problem with you voicing your opinion. I just don't know what it is. If it was, they drape themselves with a flag that says end oppression. Or, Rogers, was it Tommy Smith from the Olympics that, raised their fist? And we knew what they were protesting, right? We knew what they were doing. So I am 100% on your side for your right to protest. If you want to go out there and say, I hate everybody and down with all, everybody that's not me, have at it. I don't agree with you, but I appreciate your right to stand up and speak your mind. I appreciate the right for Colin Kaepernick to kneel. And by the way, Colin Kaepernick didn't bring any attention to himself, right? It was a reporter, I think, for the New York Post, maybe. Someone saw him do it. He kneeled. He knelt the game before, and nobody saw it. And so nothing was made out of it. It was actually his second game kneeling that they noticed, and that's when everyone flipped out. So, again, protest, speak your mind, say your piece. I 100% agree with your ability to do that. But also, let's make sure if you're going to protest, we know what the hell you're protesting about. If you just kneel for the anthem and we don't know why, your protest does nothing. We'll be back.
Life in Louisiana is a symphony of sound, colors, and movement. It's a celebration of moments, big and small, and Blue Cross is here for it all. You can rely on the strength of the cross and protection of the shield. Your card opens doors to a large network of top doctors to care for you. So live life knowing Blue Cross has you covered for the highs and lows and everything in between. The right card, the right care.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
We know baseball, football, basketball, soccer, track and field. Name the sport, we've got the world for it. Sports World, they control the universe of our local sports. If they ain't got it, you can't play it. Sports World, keeping you up to date on everything associated with LSU. River Cities Lighting, the LSU updates at the bottom of the hour, every hour of the Tim Fletcher Show, brought to you by River Cities Lighting, 3908 Shed Road, rivercitieslighting.com, bringing bright ideas to people every day.
When you hear this voice, you think of yesteryear, I hope. Grandpa's voice as he unwraps that Werther's and pops it in his mouth, and all of a sudden he's got to talk like this. I'm trying to get you to think of the good times back in the day. Back then, houses were affordable. Now, not so much. Except at Brewer Quality Homes. Grandpa's Werther's and a decent down payment get you a beautiful brand new home. Brewer Quality Homes.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? How's your mom and them? Demons fell last night, 72-61 at A&M Corpus Christi. Weirdly officiated game. Demons got called for every foul in the book in the first half and none of them in the second half. Corpus got called for no fouls in the first half and all the fouls in the second half. It was really strange. Demons got down 14, cut it to 6 on a couple of occasions, but couldn't get past that. Don't forget, if you want to get in touch with the show, you can call us at 318-RALLY-45, 318-725-5945, or you can reach us on the Bobby L. Green Plumbing text line, 318-657-0HAM, 318-657-0426. Couple of texts on the Live Oak Waste Trash text line at 318-GUY-PILE, 318-489-7453. Ernie said, how can you tell somebody good job if they lost, or if I lost, apparently not good enough? I mean, you just that's kind of the point, right? The handshake line is, hey, good job, good effort. That's what it is. Yeah, like it's, and again, that's part of the issue that I have with handshake lines is it's all sort of performative, right? None of it's actually meaningful. It's not like you're going in the handshake line going, hey, man, great work. Hey, buddy, good job with your 2 rebounds out there. Hey, you hustled hard. Nobody's giving genuine compliments. Everybody's just like, hey, good job, good job, good job, good job, good game, good game, good game, good job, good game, good job, good game. Like, that's all you're doing. And you're either slapping hands like down low, or you're fist bumping, or you're high-fiving or whatever. Nobody's handshaking, right? You just say, good game, good game, good game, good game. And you don't even say good game half the time. After you're like, game, 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 game. Like, you don't even, good, 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 good. You're not even saying the whole thing because you're going by so fast. There is very little about a handshake line that's genuine. And again, unless you're friends, right? You have a buddy on the opposite team, a guy you used to play with, then you're going to get some genuine reaction. And that's why I'm okay if they just want to abolish it. And you know what? If a guy is friends with a guy on the other team, go over and hug him. Go over and how you doing? What's going on? How's your mom and them, right? Like, go and do that. But we've turned this into this sort of, well, this is how it's done, and this is what's sportsmanlike, that we muck it up, we muster up the ability to go over there and tell everyone good game when we don't mean it, and we don't want to be there. We either want to go celebrate the win with our teammates, or we want to go lick our wounds with our teammates. Rogers, by the way, don't lick your wounds. It's not sanitary. Use Band-Aids and like antiseptic and stuff. And if your wound's really bad, go see a doctor. They also will not lick your wound. Unless you go see a cat doctor, I guess, in which case they probably will with that rough sandpaper tongue. Is there anything worse, Rogers, than getting licked by a cat whose tongue is dry? Because, like, the thing's already sandpaper, right? That tongue is already so rough. And then it licks you with the dry tongue. It's like just flaying your skin off as it goes. They should really make exfoliators out of cat tongue. Like, you want to really, you go to, Rogers, have you ever had a manicure or a pedicure before? I've had a couple of pedicures, never had a manicure, but I've had a couple of pedicures, where they do your feet. They put it in the like little sitz bath or whatever. And then, they do your cuticles and they rub off all your bunions and your corns and your calluses and all that. They do all of that, right? So you go to the spa, instead of using the cheese grater to grate your calluses out, which is, by the way, what they use. They basically use a cheese grater to grate your calluses. Instead of doing that, they ought to use just a cat tongue, right? Just get a bunch of cat tongues and put them together. That stuff will scrape off anything you need. Rogers, I'm going to invent a cat tongue scraper for, like, ice on your windshields. I bet that would be great. You just scrape that thing right off with your cat tongue scraper. Ernie said maybe during the national anthem they should show videos on the Jumbotron of all the people that passed away for them to have that right to kneel. Again, Ernie, that's kind of the point, right? That's what we fight for. I shouldn't say we. I've done no fighting for it. I'm a coward. I will tell you that first and foremost, right? That's why I have utmost respect for people that go and put their life on the line. But that's what they fight for. They fight for your right. I want to say it so bad, Rogers, but I'm in a serious subject right now, and I don't want to party. I don't want to say that. Yeah, that's what you fight for, right? That's what it is. It's for the ability for this country to remain free. And that means that sometimes somebody's going to voice an opinion that you aren't okay with, or that is not the same opinion as you, or that you find abhorrent, you find repulsive, right? That's going to happen. But they still have the right to do that and say that. And so, to me, that's why it's important. It's also important that people understand what your protest is And that's why I don't think that the Cal players kneeling at the softball game before ULL is a good protest, because we don't know what you're protesting. At that point, it's literally just a performative act for yourself. If you had a shirt on that said, George Floyd or, end deforestation or whatever your cause may be, then yes, at that point it becomes a good thing to do, right? You're standing up for your whatever your cause is. That's fine. But if no one knows what your cause is, then you protesting does nothing, because we have no idea what you're doing. All we see is that you've knelt for the anthem, and you obviously are mad about something, and we don't know what. Dave's not here said, don't forget the upcoming 14 and under Louisiana Age Group Championship swim meet starts Thursday at the LSU Baton Rouge Aquatic Center. Top swimmer and 12 and under state champion Wesley Wynn will be one of many swimmers from Christus, Louisiana Athletic Club. He was able to score the most points for the Louisiana Zones team. The Louisiana Zones team, that's interesting. Never heard that nickname before. Against the top 8 swimmers from 15 states. Good luck to all of our Shreveport-Bossier swimmers competing this weekend. Break some records. Also, what they said at Disco Night at the Chicago White Sox, Rogers, break some records, which is what they did. They definitely broke some records, that is for sure. I like when Rogers looks puzzled at the phone. That always makes me laugh, and he kind of looks like, when you make a weird sound to a dog, and they turn their head looking sort of quizzically. That's what Rogers just did right there, was sort of look quizzically over at the phone when it started ringing, because he didn't recognize the phone number. Scott and Lafayette. All right, let's hear it. Scott and Lafayette. I'm glad to finally have someone from down in Acadiana jump on the show. I've been waiting on this. Scott, what's up, man?
Well, Tim,
well, this is Patrick, by the way. This is not Tim. I just want you to know I'm filling in for Tim today. This is Patrick Netherton. So,
okay,
yeah.
Sorry,
Don't blame Fletcher for anything that comes out of my mouth. Is all I'm saying.
I got you. Hey, listen, I was at the UL softball game.
Yes.
On the third game, and you've got a couple stories that have been kind of pushed together, so everything didn't happen in the same game.
Okay. Well, I watched. I watched the video that I watched. I went back and watched. It was the rain came down in the bottom of the 7th. It was 1-0. There was Cal wanted the game to be stopped. The umps wouldn't stop it.
Right.
2 wild pitches tied the game. The assistant coach comes out and gets tossed, and then the catcher for Cal gets tossed as well. And I think one of the Cajun players got tossed. I know the anthem protesting wasn't in the same game.
Right. No, Patrick, yeah. I did color commentary for ESPN Plus for that game.
Okay.
The anthem thing happened Friday night.
Right. Yeah, I knew they weren't in the same game.
Which UL won 8-0. Right. Now the protest, UL did not win that rain game.
I thought they won in extra innings. Okay.
No, Cal won it in extra innings.
Okay, gotcha.
So, yeah, they were very upset. Rain coming down pretty hard. We have a wild pitch. Player advances from second to third. We have another wild pitch, and a player scores with a tying run to put in the extra innings. Cal assistant coach was tossed.
Right.
The Cal catcher was tossed. No one from UL
No one from UL got tossed. Okay. I wasn't sure. And actually, that was the other thing is it was kind of hard. And I understand. I do softball play-by-play on ESPN Plus, so I understand it's difficult to get a hold of the information sometimes because it was sort of muddy there for a while. And like I said, I watched the clip, right? I didn't watch the whole game. I'm watching, a minute and a half of an entire game. So yeah, it was hard. It was hard to tell after the Cal catcher got tossed what else happened beyond that, because it was, rightfully so, focused on the head coach talking to the umpire, trying to get everything sorted out.
Right. And we could never really see, with our replays too, we could never really see what the Cal catcher, and actually The Cajun player who was coming to bat was actually UL's catcher.
Okay.
We can never really see. They were just kind of jawing a little bit.
Yeah.
And the only thing we could see was the Cal catcher kind of lunged at the UL batter.
Yeah.
And that was about all we could see with her. So a Cal assistant and the Cal catcher were taught.
Yeah. That's and by the way, as someone who does television, I can tell you it's the worst when the action that you want to see is literally like 3 steps off camera. There's nothing worse than you're trying to run a replay. It's like, oh no, like it actually happened last night in the UIW Commerce game when the fight started between those two teams. It was literally just off camera. And then they had to they quickly panned over to get the fight, but it all started just off camera.
Right.
So that's the worst position to be in. I no doubt about it.
Yeah, and then actually my last point is that it went one more inning, and Cal actually ended up winning that game 3-1. So they survived all the rain and all the controversy.
Right. Well, always good to have a little controversy early in the season, you know?
Oh, sure. Get the juices flowing.
Get us into softball season the right way. Hey, appreciate the call, brother. Thank you.
Sure thing. Thanks, Patrick.
All right. Good stuff. Yeah. Mine as well. You know, get the guy who was actually there calling the game. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, let me tell you something. When and look, the camera operators are doing, for by and large, 99% of the camera operators that are out there are doing a great job. But sometimes they're focused on one thing. And half the time, the director is, and by the way, Ernie says, you're on ESPN? Yeah. Thank you, Ernie. Appreciate someone paying attention to the afternoon show. Sometimes the director will be like, hey, camera 2, stay on this. Stay on the coach. Camera 1, get the assistant coach. Camera 3, get blah, blah. And they'll kind of direct everyone. So sometimes the camera operators are being told to look at this and not be over there. And so the Cal catcher gets into it with one of the Cajun players, and we don't see that. It's just off camera, and the next thing you know, they get tossed, and we don't know why because we can't see it. That's one of the limitations of television, and can kind of make it tough. And also getting that information, right? Was the Cal catcher tossed? You have to wait till the new catcher comes in, so you can say, okay, well then we know that happened. Was a player from the Cajuns tossed? We don't know. Let's see if the batting order remains the same or everyone's the same in the field when they come back out. That's the tough part about dealing with that from time to time. Well, thanks for the call. We really appreciate that. It's good stuff. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's the Tim Fletcher Show as guest hosted by Patrick Netherton, and we'll be right back.
Brewer Quality Homes, 3830 East Texas in Bossier City, supporting the Tim Fletcher Show. You know, he loves naming his homes after movies, characters, and all that good stuff, Hester. What's the next one you think Donnie Brewer should be investing in?
The roles of John Candy.
So, John Candy movies. Little Uncle Buck.
Yes.
What else you got?
How about summer rental?
Ooh, perfect for the deer camp, though. Whatever camp it is you have, get the summer rental at Brewer Quality Homes.
The Home Alone.
Oh.
Gus Polinski. Polka, polka, polka.
Do the polka, polka, polka all the way down to 3830 East Texas in Bossier City. Get on a plane, a train, or an automobile and get your Brewer Quality home right now.
Just don't name one after Barf.
You know, Roger, some people say I'm a ham.
Oh, a big old ham.
Oh, thank you, sir. When it comes to big old hams, you and I know there's really only one place to go.
Big old honey baked ham.
You got that right. Honey baked ham, whether it's July 4th, whether it's Labor Day, whether it's Thursday. I'll take a ham from Honey Baked Ham.
Honey, please get me a honey baked ham.
Southfield Shopping Center in Shreveport. When it comes to musical events, comedic events, people coming into town, rising acts, up-and-comers, they're going to show up at the Women's Department Club Theater upstairs at the corner of Margaret Place and Line Avenue, Louisiana Grandstand. It's your home of great music, great comedy, great shows, incredible entertainment. It's here in Shreveport on a regular basis, LouisianaGrandstand.com. Hester, can you name your favorite item on the menu at Walk-Ons?
Number one favorite item? Non-cheese fries division?
No, there is no divisions here, buddy. It's all open.
If there's a consistent one thing that's getting ordered every time, it's cheese fries. And then we go from there.
See, I go with the mozzarella logs. Right. But the great thing about Walk-Ons, I find a new favorite every time.
Every time. And then they have the new menu items you don't even know about. So you get in there and then you see the secret menu that the waitress has.
Walk-Ons. There's no secret. Go to Walk-Ons, get great food. Airline Drive in Bossier, Erie in Shreveport.
Restore me, refuel me, rejuvenate. RejuveMeMedical.com.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger, Shreveport's home for LSU sports.
Hey, it's the Tim Fletcher Show, as guest hosted by Patrick Netherton. Rogers, I was walking by the hall down here, and our friends at Keel, 710 Keel, and they were asking me about what's going on in the afternoon, right? Because I'm here in the morning, like what's going on. My show's normally 1 to 3. I said, we'll go national. She's like, well, you coming back up here? I'm like, oh, no. If I'm up here at 6 o'clock in the morning, I ain't coming back at 1. It's like, well, are you, what will you do? And I'm like, we'll go national. Like, oh, y'all don't have like a best of? And I was like, no, that would require me sitting down and putting together segments to make a best of and or having best segments to put together. And we don't have those. All right. LSU update, Rogers? Is that what we're doing? Hey, let's talk a little LSU softball, Rogers. Why don't we? LSU coming off of a big weekend at the Clearwater Invitational in softball. The Tigers up to number 12. I think they'll probably jump up as they are now 8-0 on the season, getting wins against Georgia Tech, Northwestern, not State, Oklahoma State, not Oklahoma, and then rainouts against Washington and Minnesota in the Clearwater Invitational in Clearwater, Florida. They beat Georgia Tech 12-8 on Thursday, beat Northwestern, again, not State, 13-12 on Friday, beat Oklahoma State 7-6 on Saturday, and then had their other Saturday game canceled against number 5 Washington and their Sunday game against Minnesota. They will be back at home at Tiger Park in the Tiger Classic, taking a little Tiger snooze. Dream of catching zebras. Will the Tigers. Actually, they'll be trying to catch Broncos, specifically the Boise State Broncos. LSU faces Boise State twice, Thursday at 6, Friday at 4. Doubleheader on Friday as they will take on Houston at 6:30, then Houston on Saturday at 4, and then Austin Peay Saturday at 6:30. So Boise State Thursday at 6, Friday at 4, Houston Friday at 6:30, Saturday at 4, Austin Peay Saturday at 6:30. Then they got the whole week off before they take on a whole bunch of teams in the Purple and Gold Challenge. Not to be confused with the Tiger Classic, Rogers, which is totally different. The Purple and Gold Challenge will have Illinois, San Diego State, McNeese, Louisiana Tech, all coming to LSU. The Tigers, 8-0 on the season, getting it done. Beth Torina's squad making it happen. Rogers, as I look over the stats, they are hitting .366 on the year, and their staff is pitching to a .308 ERA, including Rogers, Raylan Chafin, who is the sister of former Northwestern State Lady Demons center fielder Mackenzie Chafin, and a Shreveport native. She is having a good one. 2-0 with a .307 ERA for Raylan Chafin. Also, Rogers, workout buddies of our own Crystal Chica in the morning. Yeah, they work out together on occasion when Raylan Chafin is back in. She actually went and tried to get a hit off of Raylan. They did a video one time where Chica tried to step in and Raylan was throwing to her, and she tried to get a hit off of her. I think she did make contact and like foul one off, but that was about as good as she did. Raylan Chafin, again, the younger sister of former Northwestern State Lady Demon Mackenzie Chafin, who has now graduated. Raylan, I want to say, Rogers, this is the problem. I can't remember anything. From Airline. All right, there we go. I couldn't remember which high school. I knew it was Shreveport Bossier. I couldn't remember what high school. So there you go. 2 years ago went 6-2 with a .323 ERA. Last year went 6-1 with a .274 ERA. This year 2-0 with a .307 ERA for Raylan Chafin. So there you go. And that is your SEC update brought to you by River Cities Lighting. with their large fans and their lights and lots of people to contact. What's that phone number, Rogers, for the River Cities lighting? 318
742-9918. Ask for Laurie, Heather, or Courtney. 318-742-9918. River Cities Lighting.
Ye to the haw. Rogers Hampton, baby. Uncle Lewis said that the digression has ample best of material. Well, yeah, if I was doing a best of that wasn't anything to do with sports, sure, I'd have miles and miles. I don't know. Rogers, is that the unit of measurement for sound? Miles and miles? It used to be back when you had reels, and you literally had tape. You have miles and miles of tape. But, now I've got seconds and seconds of good digression material.
A good deal. And how about maybe our sister station not worry about it? Maybe somebody that works 15 hours a day might like to have a damn afternoon off. Maybe think about that. Somebody's here from 3:30 and 4 in the morning till sometimes 5, 6 at night.
They weren't being mean. They were just asking. They weren't. They
don't care about us. They stole our chairs back. I
That
don't care what they think when we do whatever.
They did steal our chairs.
We had our chairs for 2 weeks, and because they were all matching colors, they wanted them back.
That's true.
Yeah, that was it for me.
That's true. You're right. Dan the Man said about Colin Kaepernick, he sat on the bench first, and an ex-Army Ranger and football player, Nate Boyer, suggested he kneel instead to show respect for the soldiers. Yet he gets all the hate, and nobody mentions Nate Boyer. Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? He had literally a special forces guy that told him, like, hey, here's what you should do. So when you think he's just kneeling and disrespecting the country, he literally did it at the behest of one of our best soldiers. So, yeah. Dave's not here. Said thanks, Patrick. You're welcome. Ernie said not coming back at 1. You're weak. Hampton does it every day. Maybe you should adjust your clock 30 minutes ahead also. Maybe so. Maybe so, Ernie. Maybe I should. Maybe that's the secret to. Maybe that's the secret to longevity and good stamina is adjusting your clock ahead 30 minutes. Who knows?
Like I said, hey, every now and then I might get a chance to have a stinking afternoon off. You'll get T-Bob and Jacob from 3 to 5. I will make sure before I leave today that all the segments are in, all the sponsors are in. I'll get with Greg. We'll make sure it's national. We talked about this, and they were like, I'm going to be sticking around just to play something that we've already done that I'm going to play over again in 3-4 hours from now. So every now and then I might get a chance to go have some lunch and have an afternoon off, and I'm taking advantage of that today. I am celebrating Buster's birthday and Allie's birthday.
Okay.
This is my
That's your celebration.
celebratory good feel vibe toward both of them is I'm going to go have me a nice lunch and a beer for each one of them and tell them happy birthday.
A pitcher of beer for each one.
So
of
1
them.
to 3, you actually get a live national show. So if something breaking happens, it won't be something we talked about a handshake line 5 hours earlier. But you'll get T-Bob and Jacob from 3 to 5, even though that is something they talked about earlier. It'll still be LSU oriented, and it's our local hero, Jacob, and the Cajun Cannon son. So everything is in order. Just 1 to 3, you'll get a live national show, not something that we talked about 6 hours earlier that we've moved on from. And I get a chance to go have a nice lunch with a good friend.
Mm-hmm. Oh, who are you having lunch with, Rogers? A good friend?
I'll have to tell you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
got to
thanks.
keep it on the DL.
Okay. I get it. I wish I was included. Apparently, I'm not a good friend, but, whatever. All right. Rogers just wants to go have lunch with a good friend. I don't know who that person is. If only I knew where he was having lunch at, maybe I could, go spy on him. You see me like peering in the window, crying like Dan Aykroyd from Trading Places. Yeah, when he's drunk in his Santa suit. That used to be me. I was Roger's friend. Now he's eating lunch with somebody else. Just growl a lot. Be very growly. It's fine, Rogers. That's okay. I don't, whatever. I'll just be at home crying. I mean, watching TV or something. I will definitely not be weeping into a towel and screaming into a pillow and punching air yet again. We'll be back.
Experts in the hunting and fishing world. Steve Greff, Mike Eccles, and Gary McCoy, the host of the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show. Tune in Wednesday at 11 and Saturday mornings at 6 on FM 103.3 or on the home of LSU Sports, AM 1130, The Tiger.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
COVID-19? I don't want to risk missing work. I booked an appointment for this season's updated COVID-19 shot designed to help protect against recent variants. Learn about a vaccine option and book your COVID-19 shot on schedulecovidvax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 five-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 800 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 800. LUME deodorant.com, code 800 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code 800.
103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger.
It's so quiet. They're requesting quiet. Yeah, that came on yesterday. 10cc's 10cc, I'm not in love. Gets to the scary part in the middle. Quiet, requesting quiet. Which allegedly says big boys don't cry, but we all know it says requesting quiet. Quiet, requesting quiet. Requesting quiet. Yeah, the funny thing is, Rogers, because, so for those that don't know, and you probably everyone, growing up, that song used to play because I was a big easy listening guy. KVKI, light rock less talk, or light rock less talk, depending on how you want to say it. Light rock less talk. KVKI, I think KITT was still light rock back in the day. So yeah, I was a light rock guy. Asia and Journey and Chicago and Celine Dion and all that. So 10cc's I'm Not in Love would pop on. And the thing to note about 10cc's I'm Not in Love is in the middle, it does that weird, and they're going, big boys don't cry. Big boys don't cry. Which, A, doesn't sound anything like Big Boys Don't Cry. We always thought it said requesting quiet. But as a kid, in our youth, it felt like the spookiest damn song ever. That like weird interlude in the middle felt really spooky. And it actually was kind of scary to me back in the, 10, 11, 12 days. When did that song come out, Rogers? I'm Not in Love by 10cc came out in 75, right? So it's, it's playing when I'm 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. I mean, it's still being played now. So But that little middle part, for whatever reason, just scared the hell out of me and my best friend. And so to this day, Rogers, I texted you and immediately texted him. Like I got in my truck. It's 10 cc's. I'm not in love. And it's literally on the scary part, the requesting quiet part. But the crazy part about it is, Rogers, I realize I cannot experience that song in the way that everyone else experiences that song, because it's always got the core memory of me being scared of that middle part and requesting quiet. So I don't know what that song actually is, right? I don't know what people think of it, how they experience it. I have no idea how people experience that song, because for me, it's always the scary part in the middle. So I don't know. It was written by Eric Stewart, one of the band members of 10cc, as a response to his wife's declaration that he did not tell her often enough that he loved her. So they didn't like the song. The other band members didn't like the song to start with. They kept singing the melody around the studio. The lead singer persuaded the group to give the song a chance, and they changed it up, and it became a hit. Yeah. It's very scary, Rod. Late at night, that song comes on, spooky. I'm waiting on something to happen. So somebody named William Byron won the Daytona 500. Isn't that guy a poet and didn't know it? Oh, before I leave, Rogers, I got to tell the story of the baseball game. This made me think about it, because Rogers normally Rogers would tell me, save your jokes for between 1 and 3, because I sent him a joke over the weekend. I was watching the broadcast of the Northwestern State baseball game against Southern Illinois. Jason Pugh had the call, and it was on Saturday, which, if you remember, front came through on Friday night. Saturday was cold and windy and just gross. So everyone's bundled up. Everyone's got blankets on. They're wearing their warmest coats or whatever. And there was one guy sitting in the first 3 rows at Brown Stroud Field that was very much on camera, prominent from the center field camera, that was wearing camouflage. So I post the photo of the blank 3 rows of Brown Stroud Field and one guy sitting in those first 3 rows with camo on, and I said, it's a shame that no one is sitting in the first 3 rows of Brown Stroud Field. Now, Rogers knows me well enough to know if there's camo involved, I'm making a you can't see them joke. Like 100% going to make that camo joke. So I post it. And sure enough, Rogers, the first response was, well, you have to be like a VIP to sit in that section. I'm like, that's fine, but that's not what I'm talking about. I said something along the lines of, well, my point is not about ticket prices. And they're like, well, the ticket prices aren't that bad, but like that one usher will not let you into that section. And I'm like, okay. Again, my point is not about the ability to sit in that section. And finally, someone was like, oh, they're wearing camouflage. I'm like, thank you. Somebody got the joke. Dressed in their finest camo. Because look, let's be honest. In this area of the world, your warmest stuff is probably camouflage from going duck hunting. Like your warmest stuff is usually going to have camo on it somewhere. So, yes, I did drop a camo joke. I sent the picture to Rogers, told him what I said. This was on Saturday afternoon. And his response was 1 to 3, Monday through Friday. Yeah. Because I was like, wait a second, it's like 2 o'clock on a Saturday. Yeah, 1 to 3, Monday through Friday. Yeah. Hambone's famous retort to me for any of my stuff that I say is he'll point to his wrist, which does not have a watch on it, but he'll tap his wrist, which tells me this is only allowable 1 to 3, Monday through Friday. And I get it. I understand. But I'm not going to make a camo joke. Yeah. Rogers knows, even so much so that a couple months ago, we're eating lunch at a local establishment here by the radio station, and I look over and I tell Rogers, it's a shame no one's sitting at the bar. And there were 2 guys sitting at the bar, but they both had camo on. And Rogers looks over and goes, what? And he goes, oh. The moment when I'm taken seriously until the moment when they understand, and it's usually, for Rogers, it's much less time than most everybody else because he knows me. So for Hambone, it's usually like within a second or two. Most everybody else, it takes a little while. And then I told Rogers I wanted to go sit in that guy's chair and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you here. And sit in the chair, and he's like, I will walk out of this place. Do not do that. I'm like, I'm not going to do that, but I really wanted to. Like if I knew him or something, you know, yeah, I'd have like walked over there and just started sitting on the guy's lap. Right. And be like, oh, I'm sorry, didn't see you there. Must have been the camo. But the best part of the joke is not telling everyone the joke. You know, I posted a photo of Jan Elkins and an Army guy in camouflage on the set at Channel 3. And I said, I don't understand why they have Jan Elkins up there by herself, like facing off to the side. And someone was like, well, there's 2 people there. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I just see Jan Elkins. And they're like, no, there's 2 people there. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just see Jan Elkins. And someone was like, it's a camo joke. Like, thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Lafayette. Oh, we're going to break and then come back and get, okay. All right. But still thank you, Lafayette, even though we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Brewer Quality Home supporting the Tim Fletcher Show. Hester, you know old Donnie Brewer's got a little bit different managerial style than most.
Unconventional.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
He's never really hired the guy that runs Brewer Quality
He really
Homes.
hasn't. He just sort of won a Thunderdome type competition, and now he runs the place, but no paperwork was ever filed.
No, I don't think so. Nate Dizzle basically won the Thunderdome.
Right.
And that's, of course, they've got a home named the Thunderdome.
Of course.
Why wouldn't they? Yeah. What movie do you want Donnie Brewer to start naming homes after now? That's the next thing for Donnie Brewer, Brewer Quality Homes. If you could pick a movie for him to start using as names of his Cabco, Franklin, Jessup Homes, what would it be?
The Running Man.
Brewer Quality Homes, 3830 East Texas in Bossier City. Who knew that wallpaper is making a comeback? I tell you who knew. River City's Lighting. Yeah, the same folks who have your interior lighting, your exterior lighting, your wall accoutrement. They also have your wallpaper. River City's Lighting, 3908 Shed Road, rivercitieslighting.com. With their Scotch tape technology for security, there's nothing better than Daiquiri Express to keep you safe and warm on a hot spring day coming soon. Daiquiri Express, 5 locations serving you, and every single one has got your favorite frozen concoction at Daiquiri Express. Your SEC update every single hour, powered by Morris & DeWitt Law, morrisdewitt.com. Trey Morris and Justin DeWitt with a peerless reputation, 318-225-9934, 318-225-9934. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram under Morris & DeWitt Injury Lawyers. GBT has been our stand-by-us bank for quite some time when it comes to a bank that delivers service, that delivers financial products, that delivers modern banking at your fingertips. I can think of nobody better than GBT, the great banking team. We are digging our Silverado LTZ Texas Edition 4x4 Chevy Silverado from Chevyland. Buddy, if you're looking to dig a truck, how about making plans? 7500 Erie Drive, Shreveport, Chevyland.
KWKH and K277DO Shreveport, 103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger. Bossier City's home for LSU sports, a Town Square media station.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It is the Tim Fletcher Show, as brought to you by Patrick Netherton. I don't know, maybe it's featured by, Tim Fletcher Show featuring Patrick Netherton. I think we'll go with that. And of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Rogers Hampton, who thinks right now that it's actually 9:29, not 8:59, because his clocks are ahead 30 minutes. Still don't get it, but that's all right. Hey, want to wish everyone down in the Acadiana area a wonderful day. Lovely folks down there. Appreciate Scott from the ULL broadcast crew calling in and clarifying some things on that Cal Raging Cajun softball brouhaha. But thanks to the Cajun folks. We love you. Got to always stop in at Scott, get some of them cracklings. So y'all have a wonderful day. Be safe and careful out there. Tim Fletcher will be back with you in the morning here on 1130 The Tiger.
KWKH and K277DO Shreveport, 103.3 FM and 1130 The Tiger. Your home for LSU sports, a Town Square media station.
Can't tell me what to do, Rogers. I'm leaving. Over here pointing at me and doing your fingers all kind of ways. How am I supposed to know what 3 fingers in the air means? Is it 3 minutes or is it read between the lines? Usually read between the lines. All right, well, we kicked 3 hours in the butt. And
the last hour brought to you by Brewer Quality Homes. It's 9 o'clock hour. Even though we're going to do a replay, it's brought to you by Bud Light and Rejuva Me. Good job, Peanut.
The Rejuva Me medical guy sounds like Lord Hester if he tried.
That's funny.
Like if Lord Hester gave effort on the radio, like, did like a more, like didn't just, okay, well, no. If he actually like, emoted or projected his voice in any way, he would sound like the Rejuva Me medical guy. Sounds just like Lord Hester, in my opinion. But we know Lord Hester doesn't use Rejuva Me because that guy's, we love you, Adam. The best. The man, the myth, the legend. And also don't forget there is a sports card show coming along with GeekCon. So don't forget about that. That's going to be neat. Going to have some cool athletes coming to sign. They'll be announcing those as we go along. But I've already seen the list. It's a good group. Heck, you might even be able to get a Rogers Hampton signature out there. Or maybe a picture with the old ham bone. You never know. You never know. Could happen. You never know. Might happen. All right. Good job, everybody. For Rogers, I'm Patrick. Be safe and careful out there today. I'll be back tomorrow from 1 to 3. Fletch will be back tomorrow from 6 to 10. Have yourselves a wonderful day.
Life in Louisiana is a symphony of sound, colors, and movement. It's a celebration of moments, big and small. And Blue Cross is here.